Check. 1, 2, much better. Much better. There we go. 8 kilobits per second. Wonderful. Wonderful. Much better. Also, I couldn't stand wearing a shirt. It's too hot. Okay, things have gotten even worse in the short time since I restarted my stream. This is part 2 of Molly Golightly and LB and Justin claim that Marvon Sr. has passed. But there's an issue to that claim. What? I'm sorry? Or Marvon Jr., sorry. That Marvon has passed. My apologies. But there's an issue to that claim. And that is that we are hearing the opposite from the people who would know. And we do have connections to some people that would at least have heard something or would be able to validate this. And in going in to figure out how this happened or what actually happened, we've found a trail of misinformation instead of confirmation. Then, to take it a step further, when you actually look at what everyone is saying and showing, they really aren't saying what happened. They're not saying that they know this because of this reason and that it's true. Instead, they are reacting to the information that's already been put out there as if that information validated itself. And my goal with this stream, of course, is to do a better job, because my last stream, if you weren't there, we had a lot of technical difficulties. All of them are fixed. Take a look. I'll show you. Yay! 8 kilobits per second. And as you can see right here, we are green, and we're sending a huge amount of data at 1080 high def 60 frames a second, which is what I need to be sending you. So no worries though, because Navy is here, of course, as you heard. Also, we do have more screenshots, more information, and we've got all the clips and everything we need to be able to present you with what actually happened, because that's what we do. As opposed to these people that we are covering. Thank you, nerd. That's what I'm talking. Did I hit 5K? Well, thank you. I hope I did. I might not have, though. You never know. It kind of fluctuates. We'll see. But no, thank you. This is only my 3rd channel that's hit 5K ever. You know, I'm getting used to this whole 5K thing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, though, what I aim to do, Navy and I, is to present you with what actually happened so that you can make up a good take, a good opinion. This is now more than ever the land of misinformation. People on this platform, while you can find the rare diamond in the parking lot where people will be honest with you and try to make their content based off of reality, too many of the people that are there are scratching and clawing, and they are crack rocks in the dust. I like that, because there's just a billion of them, and they try to present you information that's morphed and warped and cultivated to get your clicks and your views and your donations. And through that evolving over a period of years, we now have people that even manipulate people's passing, manipulate children being put in the worst kind of situations that ever can happen. We have people that go and protest in front of family members' yards right now because they're angry that a person's granddaughter has probably been responsible for her infant child passing. And instead of them trying to protest where the purple trader is, as I like to say here, they're trying to go to extended family members' homes with bullhorns and screams. And the way they perpetuate this lie, these narratives, this fake news, this misinformation, is through hooking you with these types of extreme circumstances and, of course, performative measures of this, anything to make it look like they're getting justice. And this story, while they're out protesting at someone else's passing, somehow they have met their goal when it comes to Marvon's story. Remember, we started to cover this because they wanted justice for Marvon, and how quickly they forgot and left him by the wayside. The minute the money dried up, they got busted for running an extremely huge fraud raiser for a member of his family that wasn't even a member of the family for many years, and then putting the money in the wrong hands and profiting off the situation. And of course, they had to run from the MARVON story and find one that involved an infant and involved a young mother who most likely did something bad to that infant. And instead of them being honest with you, and let's just go, because we couldn't talk about this at all in the last stream, Navy. So before we jump into this really quickly, why, and this is my biggest thing, they want to protest, they want to do something so that they can motivate the police or whoever they can to get justice for an infant that has disappeared. Okay? They haven't even found the infant's body. Supposedly the infant is in a landfill, and they've been searching a landfill. And the genius idea from these insane tragedy pimps, as they're being called by the internet, they're going to go protest at the grandmother's home. Why? What if they want the police to arrest her, wouldn't they protest at the police station? Isn't the grandmother innocent? Didn't she not kill the... They don't think the grandmother did it, right? And if you're talking, we can't hear you, just so you know. And so, you know, I don't know what to say. It's weird because your audio was just working and it just went out again. So you probably have to... Last time when you restarted it, it worked. So just try that, I guess. You know, I'm going to have my audience, once we talk about this current situation and we get you all the information of the claim to MARVON's either life or passing right now. I want to actually hear from you in the audience, and I'll let you know before we do it, and find out why. Are they making the right decision and protesting where they're protesting? Are they doing anything to try and get actual a result from what they're doing? Or is this what they did with MARVON's family? Are they just putting on an act? I just am so... Oh, we can hear you now. What do you think, Navy?
Well, apparently, according to live chat, the mother supposedly also lives with the grandmother, so that's why they went to that house. But no, my thing is this: if you want the cop,
hold on. Okay. I know that, but she's not there. The point is that she is in a treatment facility. She's in a rehab, so she's not there. So it's like, yeah, I get it. That's where she was staying before all this happened. But she's an adult, and if she left to go to a rehab center, there's no reason to protest at the grandmother's, right?
No, 100%. And the thing is, like, if you're upset that the cops haven't done something, you need to go protest at the police station and demand that they, you know, do this. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you're really trying to do something, and this is the point I'm making, of course, if you're just going to go find, oh, hey, the girl stayed here before she left, or hey, the girl was here once, we're going to go do it there. That tells me that you're just trying to involve yourself, at least to make it appear that you're involving yourself in a story so that you can get donos from lazy people that aren't going to fact check or look at the truth of a situation. If you really were trying to do something, you would actually choose where you're going for a reason. You would have a plan, you would update people, and you would be able to prove that you got results. Okay, let me give you an example. We here at this channel and this brand and this community have busted many fraud raisers. We're talking almost 20 of them right now where we're at. And we have busted up into the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraud raisers. And to the point where we were sitting here telling people that they were fraud raisers literally a year before any other channel would even touch it and say that it was a fraud raiser, with hard evidence and absolute proof. The point is, there is direct results that come from our reporting and what we do here, and giving you information before anyone else, being correct, fact checking, you being able to go back to our previous videos and literally see where the hours upon hours upon hours of preparation and work has come from, because we give you our source every time we pull information so that you can find it yourself and check us on it if you want. And everything is able to be done, but when we do it, it takes large amounts of time. It's not a, let's just sit down, go live, yell and scream, throw a fit, try to catch a few beavers, adult beavers and act crazy and hope for results. It's not, let's go make a sign and go stand out front of a random house and scream into a bullhorn and just literally say justice. There is a long process. There is constant work throughout the morning, the afternoon, the evening, leading into every live stream or every video that we upload. Sometimes takes weeks to put up a single video on UNIRock too. So the point I'm making is, if they had some form of actual result, if they had some form of thing they were doing, it would be able to be known. In fact, I'm going to give you a literal example right now. Nate the lawyer, when I was having to reset my modem and do some stuff to get back in and be fully connected to YouTube so that I could stream with you, I had to log into Twitter for a second, and I saw a tweet pop up, and it's Nate the lawyer. Now, Nate had, of course, been miserably defamed by a person named Christopher Bouzy, who is involved in the Johnny Depp trial. And he is suing him. And Nate raised large sums of money through fundraising. He showed every bit of where the money came from, how much he made. He put out every bit of where it was going, and then even has filed the lawsuit and had his process server attempt to serve Bouzy 3 times. Bouzy is so scared that, and he's such a Molly go lightly, of course, he is dodging the process server to try and hope that he doesn't have to stand in court and address his defamation. The point I'm making is, Nate gets provable results. Nate actually can be fact checked on what he's doing, the money he's taking in, the result from that money, what's happening from it and with it. And Molly and Boo Boo Betty and old Justin and LB can be fact checked too. In fact, that's all we've done since we've started to cover these stories. We have presented you, when they make a claim, the place that the claim came from. If they say that Dre did something wrong and did this to them in this date, we go find the streams from that date. If they tell you that she's poisoning somebody or that she's starving kids, we go and look and actually check it and show you where it all comes from. And this is what I was trying to say in my last stream, and I was distracted. Luckily, I won't be for this stream, so hopefully this will be a good stream for you. You can fact check. You don't have to be lied to. You do not have to support and give money to the farce, to the fake news that is these people that are using you for your attention, your clicks, and your donations. You can choose to support YouTubers like Nate the lawyer. You can choose to support people like Heel versus Babyface and some of the more other the people that report news, the people that report what's going on out there, and you can actually have good coverage. That, unfortunately, the reason why they scam you is because if they don't want to do any work, if they don't want to have any skill or talent, if they don't have to be good at what they do, then they actually do have to, instead of making shit up and lying to you, they actually have to spend their entire, they have to work for years to be able to get a system going, and they have to actually have a reputation on the platform, and they have to be able to, draw in a crowd based on their content, not on the extreme behaviors that they perpetrate to peeps out there. So when we left you last time, we have now a new piece of information, but we were also listening to, oops, I shared this in the wrong room. Let me delete that so it doesn't pollute the room. We were listening to Justin and Molly, and they were telling us when they first heard the information. Oh, good. We've got our timestamp literally right there waiting on us. So we were going in and checking exactly where they were giving us the information about MARVON. And due to them being live when they heard about this, them being live and telling everybody where the information was coming from and how it was coming into them and how they were fact checking it, we now can draw conclusions about whether they have created their own fake news machine that has fed themselves the claim that MARVON passed so that they can validate it and get clicks and views and money off of it, or if it is a real report. So Navy, before we go in, the best thing to do for people that weren't in the last stream before we crashed out is for us to tell them kind of like where we are. So essentially the most easiest way to catch everybody up is to say that Out of nowhere, yesterday, Molly was streaming and said that MARVON had passed and that she had heard it and from Wynette, or was confirming it through Wynette in the middle of a live stream when she was showing her ass out in front of a random person's house that, by the way, isn't the murderer's house. They're lying to you about that. It's just a place that she was staying, and no, she's not living there right now. She's in a rehab center. Anyway, the point is, later on, they then get in the car and they address the rumor that they espoused earlier, and this is the clip that we were looking at. And what we started to show you, what we started to hear when we were going over this with you, was that Justin was saying that they had heard the rumor and that they didn't know what was going on, and that it was coming from Dre's side. Okay, now here's the bad thing for Justin and LB and Molly when it comes to Dre's side. You see, Dre is rumored to have taken legal action and hired a lawyer to help her with the way she's been treated by these people. And she does not communicate with them. She doesn't communicate with people who do communicate with them. And she's been under legal advisement not to allow herself to commentate publicly and feed these people information. So literally, due to the harassment Dre and her family has suffered that we have shown you and proven to you with video clips and the things they've deleted, that caused Dre to have to, protect herself. You get what I'm saying? We are now where we are, trying to fact check this, and I hate to bring this up and show this to you here because of the nature of this. Even though I don't like Wynette, I don't want to have to show you the claim she's making here. But I find that the reason this stream must happen right now, and the good work from Nonsense and others who've covered this earlier, trying to get the truth out to you about what's going on, is because of, I think that this screenshot will express to you why it's a good thing we're covering this. So, you can see this, right, Navy?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, also, I am in the Molly Go Scammy room. This was submitted to us after we had started to go live tonight. So, if you have more content like this, if you find anything else like this, mods, peeps, please get it into the Molly Go Scammy room, and that way we'll be able to see it. So this is Molly Go Lightly on what I believe to be, yes, this is Facebook. Yep, this is Facebook. If anybody wants to either back me up or correct me, type it into the live chat. But this is Facebook. Molly Go Lightly on Facebook. And you can already tell that they are blaming Dre, saying that Dre is evil. Dre is the bad person here. And if this is true, her husband just died. This is showing you how evil Molly and Wynette and Christy and Tiana and the rest of the people that have literally allowed themselves to make judgments of Dre off of the lies and misinformation they've been fed from these YouTubers who have profited off the lies they've told. This is evil. This is wrong. And even if you don't like Dre, you should not be talking about her like this upon learning of her husband passing, okay? Because they believe they've been told that MARVON passed. Now, I have an issue with this. Remember this clip from my last stream? Yeah, I'm going to play it again here in a minute. I was yelling at Justin when my computer crashed because Justin was saying that Wynette, he had to contact Wynette and fact check the claim that just came spurting out of Molly's mouth. Now, we've actually found out why Molly had said what she said. The reason Molly had made the original claim earlier in the day was because she was reading her live chat, she was reading her communications on her phone, and then stated that MARVON had passed, or he might have passed. And she also said that it came from Dre's camp, okay? So basically, she took someone messaging her, or she took someone in her live chat saying that he had passed and said it on a stream. Now, that caused everyone to stir. You already know that the people that follow Molly are not concerned with fact checking. They're not concerned with being good people. They love to dox and attack and go at people. Not all of them, the more dedicated, crazier ones, of course, but you know what I'm saying. And those people started to stir and churn the misinformation from the original claim that was put there by either a troll or by somebody just saying something or somebody typing something and not realizing what they wrote. Maybe they wrote it wrong, but it caused this thing to happen in the chat. So then Molly reads it and says it out loud again, because that's how Molly is. She doesn't care to verify or fact check anything. If it makes views for her, she's going to go with it, even if it's destructive, even if it's evil, even if it's nasty. So basically that happened until later. They had it brought up so often while they were streaming that, of course, they had to address the effect from what I just described. And this is where Justin says that he needs to get a hold of Wynette, because Wynette is married to Marvon's bio dad, Marvon Sr., and ask her if this is true or not. So what bothers me is that Wynette is saying here underneath Molly's. Now, this is actually from back when this all popped off. This is back from last night. This is back from when this all popped off. Okay, this isn't like later on when it came in and commented. Okay, are you following me? So what we're like, it's 22 hours ago, and this was left an hour before, you know, this all had happened. You follow me? So this is like not Wynette coming in to give further commentary. This is Annette basically just responding here and saying, "Amen. My husband Marvon is devastated." Now she's responding to the person who up here is talking shit on Dre. So even when finding out that her husband's bio kid passed, someone she never had a relationship with, never knew, never spent time with. So finding this out, her instinct, of course, is not to tell people not to attack Dre, that her husband just died, not to do this to their family, not to cause this strife, that Dre is taking care of children here, the grandkids of my husband, nothing like that. It's literally just, my husband is devastated. Now, what this tells us is that one of two things is happening. Number one, he really did pass away, and she is, of course, letting people know that. See, one of the reasons why I am going to go ahead and be somewhat nice and consider the fact that Marvon might have passed away after seeing this screenshot is because if Marvon is alive and Wynette typed this, she was literally, without having any real information, without knowing the truth. So she was going in and trying to make other people, you know, be okay with believing this had happened, right? Because again, who is the sources close to the family? Wynette. Who are the people that were contacting the sources close to the family? It would have been Molly and Justin and LB. So my point is, if it turns out that Marvon didn't pass today or yesterday and that they're not finding out for the first time here, this is pure unadulterated evil. This is bad. Okay, this is like messed up if that's the case. You follow me? Like, you would expect any adult, especially one that never formed a relationship with Marvon, especially one that would still be affected, you'd think, because she is married to the man who, even though he wasn't around his kid a lot, you know, he still fathered the kid and he'd be very upset about Marvon's passing regardless. And so you would want to be there for him. You'd be feeling the emotion, you know, you'd be upset. So, you know, if it's true, then fine, you know, it's all good. There's no issue if it's true. Actually, there kind of is, to be honest. And I'll go over that in a minute. But let's just start off with, if it's true, you know, okay, fine. She wrote this is what I'm going to say. But if it's not true, if she doesn't know for a fact, if she hasn't heard this from outside of the internet rumor mill, and she's allowing herself to fuel this rumor and continue this rumor, you would expect, now my point is, what would you think any responsible person would write here if they hadn't heard from the inner family that this happened? You would expect them to write, now everybody slow down. I'm not going to say that Marvon is passed or not. and I'm going to just try and find out first before we all jump the gun. That's why I would be judging Wynette. She would be, let's say, she would be justifiably, let's say, looked as doing something wrong here if she just goes out and lies like this. Because it would be a lie. If she's allowing herself to spread Molly, if this did come from Molly, like it looks like, again, this didn't start when Molly got a phone call. This didn't start when somebody like hit them up and said, yo, stop streaming for a minute. I got to tell you something heavy. This didn't start from any other normal thing. This all started from Molly reading a chat. This all started from Molly acting like, oh shit, I just heard a rumor. So the point is, if it is a rumor and it's not true, Wynette deserves to be looked at as a very sick, nasty person, in my opinion. And again, though, Molly also does, and LB and Justin. And that's where this all hinges. So for those of you that don't understand why there is a question here, you got to understand there's a reason that Dre has 700,000 followers on Facebook. She was very close to a group of people that had followed her for many, 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 many years. A lot of them had financially supported her for her content for as long as Dre was posting. And they were super fans, and Dre communicated with them. She talked to them. She interacted with them. She was very close to them. She considered some of them her best friends and family. And of course, I'm not going to name anybody or anything like that, but you guys know this if you followed this story. Dre was very close to many people that were in her inner circle. Those people were part of her viewership, but because of how close, now You'll say to me, but Uni, a lot of YouTubers don't get that close with their viewership for good reason a lot of the time. And I would say, sure, but the point is, and a lot do, but I'm just saying the point is on Facebook, it facilitates you to be very close to some people in your viewership because it's Facebook. You are talking with an app. You're posting your videos and your content to an app that's meant for you to get on the phone and do video calls. Now, you know that I have a Discord server and I got a lot of people that watch my show that have joined it, and then I become friends. Some of them my best friends, some of them, like almost like family or like family, I'd say. And that's just some people do it and some people don't. It's because of the amount of crazy people that are out there that literally act like Molly. And if one of them slips through the cracks and gets close to you, they will threaten you and harass you and come at you. And that's why YouTubers will lock down their shit and not open themselves up to that. Like, I don't really take new people into Discord or into the main Discord server now. We have an open server that I'll go talk to people in, and then I'll hang out with the other peeps there. So my point is, depending on how YouTubers individually handle it, Dre handled it in a way where she had a very close relationship with a good number of people. And those are the people who have reached out to some of the content creators. I'm not going to say myself, but you do know that other content creators have gone live today and last night and have challenged Molly and Wynette and LB and Justin, and they have said that they're lying. They've called them out for being, doing this on purpose or doing this irresponsibly. So that's why we're here. We already have other people, more than just an audience, more than just members of the community that are calling it out. We've got creators who have access to some people in Dre's camp, the very close people in her camp. Now, of course, Dre has been cut off from a lot of people for a while, so we have to make assumptions. We literally don't know if Dre has made an exemption here to let some of the people out there, like, okay, let me just spell it like this. For those that had been close to Dre and MARVON for many years, them hearing about MARVON passing is literally going to affect them just like a member of their family had passed. They'd spent that much time together. They had been around each other that much. And of course, if I was Dre, I wouldn't want my close inner circle of people that she has to be grieving like that if it wasn't true, right? And so I do assume, and this is all me talking, this is literally, I don't have info from anybody that hasn't talked to Navy, so I don't have any firsthand info on purpose here. But the point is that you and I could logically deduce that Dre might, it's at least possible that she would let people know, no, MARVON has not passed away. Okay, it's just logical, right, Navy? So
100%, yeah. And this story's about to get crazier.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm
just.
No, I mean,
look at the bottom of the scamming room. Yeah.
Oh God. I will in 2 seconds. Let me finish. But just to go a step further, I want you to know there is good reason. These other YouTubers that have gone out there to make videos and say, hey, Molly, you're lying. Yo, Winnet, you're lying. They actually have access to people that would know. And according to, not them, I haven't talked to them, but according to people that are moderators for them or people that are in the community, they have come to us and told us themselves and put it on them that they know for a fact that MARVON did not pass. That's why now they didn't just come to us and tell us this. They've also done this to the other creators that have gone out on a line to make content. Now, it could just be a big kerfluffle. I don't know what Navy was just referring to, but I'm assuming that it's going to become a bigger kerfluffle in a minute. It could just be a big kerfluffle, and it could just be that rumors have ricocheted around, and that could be what's going on. And maybe MARVON has passed, maybe he hasn't. But the point is, people like Winnet and Molly, if they did this and spread this as a rumor, they didn't do it for no reason, y'all. And we know what those reasons would be, but we're not going to go there until we get to that point. Okay, so we got something you want me to see or something I should see?
Yeah, so something was dropped that was put under Molly's Facebook post about 7 hours ago. And so I don't know how much validity there is to it, but it's interesting looking.
See, and here's the problem. You know, the thing that we're about to put on the screen has also been confirmed by other people that have made the same claim. So we have people out there who are, let's say, not creepers like LB. For those of you that don't know, I haven't said it yet. LB claimed that for over a week, she's been calling the coroner's office. She's been calling the medical examiner. She's been calling funeral homes and essentially trying to stalk Dre and MARVON in the most disgusting way, interfere with their life, and find out whether MARVON passed so she can give an exclusive on YouTube through the information that she hopes that she can get out of a funeral home, coroner's office, or medical examiner, or wherever. And I have a very big problem with this because, of course, she should know that it's not right for her to be meddling in these people's lives to that degree. That's extremely pushing the boundaries. Now, this is just something that Leslie gets up on her channel and freely admits. So Leslie admits she's been involved with fact-checking, or to her extent, a pathological liar. Fact-checking is hilarious, but she's been involved with going to extreme degrees to try and figure out whether MARVON passed or not for over a week. In fact, I would probably go as far as to say she's probably been doing it longer than that, and she's probably just not wanting to admit it. I don't even know why she would admit what she admitted, but the point is, Nonsense did a pretty damn good job of what I heard, calling her out for that, and I'm backing Nonsense on this. That's why LB rubs elbows with Molly. She's just as doxy and nasty and just as evil and petty as Molly is. A lot of people tried to make excuses for LB for years. You guys, if you're going to keep making excuses for her, you might hate me for this. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. You can only do it for so long. She's had years. She's not changing for the better. She's not even staying where she's at. LB has descended into Molly territory, okay? She's willing to go and scrape the bottom of the casket to get a little scrap to report on her channel, and I find it disgusting. Though, not just LB made the claim. People in the area made the claim, and I have an issue with this claim, so let me show you what it is and we'll talk about it. So this is the kind of stuff that's ricocheting because of LB, because of Justin, and because of Molly. They are the three people that are responsible for not handling this in an appropriate way. If MARVON did pass, they should have handled it like adults. They should have tried to handle it without the drama, and they should have taken it seriously to convey the information and not allow all these rumors to jump around. Though, if MARVON did not pass, then what I just said is even worse times a million. But what we got here is somebody in the same thread has said, poor MARVON. And of course, these threads are just going on. So someone else says, and this is a person labeled as a top fan, I work for the coroner's office here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we network with other agencies. DM me and the information, and I'll try to confirm this. Update. He is not deceased according to the medical examiner's office. Then someone says, I saw Molly talking about it, said the mother got a phone call from a nurse. See, this is why we don't believe Molly, Justin, and LB. And I think I know why they're doing this, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. But they've made a bunch of excuses for where the information came from. They said that a nurse at the VA was willing to lose their job and break all form of patient privilege and privacy and call family members before they even know whether the person who has the right to convey the information, Dre, has called and informed other family members and let them know and offer condolences that someone passed away with information they did not gain publicly, but gained through their job providing their medical treatment to the patient. So I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't think that a nurse did that. I don't believe Molly's telling the truth. I think Molly is putting out as many excuses as she can because Molly knows she is started this rumor. Uni, the realest person I know. Your coverage has been phenomenal. Thank you, Ruby, and I'm glad you're still here, and I love you. You've been here a long time, and I appreciate you. Back to what I was saying, though. I don't believe that a nurse, because nurses are trained in what they can and can't do so that they don't violate privacy. Maybe it's not HIPAA. Maybe it is HIPAA. You know, I'm not a nurse, but I will state that what they have done and what they're claiming happened just is bullshit. Also, coroners. I was going to say the same thing about the coroner's office. They don't just take random phone calls from other coroners and say, oh, yeah, he's dead. You know what I mean? They have to know why you're calling from another coroner's office asking for the fucking information. They're not just going to tell you, we've got this body, and this body. You have to have authorization to know these things. It's one of the most personal things that's considered privileged kind of information is how a family wants to deal with the information that a loved one has passed so that they can sit down with children in the family, be able to tell them and be able to console them, and so that they don't find out while they're at school or they don't find out when they're trying to maybe got 6 more hours ahead of them because they went to play a ball game. You know what I mean? Privacy, respect. These are things that Molly, LB, and Justin have never shown a single iota of having. They don't even understand how you respect another human being, even in the most, let's say, tragic scenarios or in the worst scenarios in someone's life. They exploit those scenarios. They aren't just against the privacy in those scenarios. They want to make money through gaining information by invading your privacy over those scenarios. They are the literal shittiest people on the platform right now. I don't even know who else to say are worse than them. But I don't believe this person. I don't believe the other people in this thread. I don't believe Molly. I don't believe any of them, because these are those people that are the sheep. These are the NPCs of the world. This is the fake news machine running. Oh, did somebody type something on the internet? Oh my God, that person must be dead because someone typed it on the internet, and I'm going to offer prayers. This is why when I see people going and typing, yo, prayers, yo. Oh my God, Marvon passed. I am thinking of his family. No, you're not. Stop fucking lying. You're not thinking of his family. You're trying to get social media points. You're trying to get social media clicks. This is why when, I had it pulled up earlier. I don't have it up. When Molly posts her little fake ass shit to Facebook and other places. Oh, fly with the birds, Marvon. You don't give a shit about Marvon. You sang justice for him at the top of your lungs, and the minute you couldn't make money off of it, you jumped over to someone else. And now you're out standing in front of a home that this person doesn't even live in. They're in freaking drug treatment right now, and you're bugging the grandma there, acting like the grandma has something to do with the disappearance, or the grandma isn't being lied to. Do you really think the granddaughter didn't lie to the grandma and say, Grandma, I didn't do it, for fuck's sake? And the worst part is, that Molly and LB and Justin, if one of their kids or one of their family members told them, I didn't kill nobody, they would defend their family member. They don't have the ability to feel empathy, people. They don't have the ability to understand how the things they're doing, meddling in. Well, yeah, you want to go lie about Katie Joy and how she talks about the Duggars all day long, Leslie, go ahead. You want to try to be jelly all day and drink the haterade, drink it till the cows come home. Lie about Katie all you want. Lie about other people all you want. Nobody's going to give a shit. Well, why are you caring now that I'm lying about MARVON dying? Because you're talking about this man's life. What do you mean? It's not like even virtue signaling. It's not even a form of a fucking, you know what I'm saying? You're literally injecting yourself. It's not a question of whether you're trying to meddle in their lives and try to sludge and slime information so that you can be the first to report it on your channel, just so you can get a few extra views. You know, you think you got people fooled that you're some kind of good person. Everybody on the internet knows that you suck. It's not a secret. We've just been trying not to hurt your feelings forever. You know, and if you're going to go into Molly levels, we're not going to keep protecting you. You suck. You're bad at this. You need to freaking wake up. Call out Molly. You've called out Katie for doxing a million times, but you literally kiss Molly's butt when she doxes somebody. It's gross, Leslie. So what do you think, peeps? What do you think, Navy? We've got a freaking coroner. And hold on, she works for the coroner. And she has access to people's information when they die or not. And she can check for people literally on the internet who have no relation, find out extremely private details about somebody's life and death, and pass it on to random YouTubers. What do you think about that?
That's crazy. I don't know. As I said, I don't know what to believe until something official comes out. Like, it's just speculation. Like, we don't even know if this person is a real, like, works for the coroner's office, has access to this stuff. Who knows? But people take this stuff and they run with it, and it's trash because you're running a family through this.
Are we talking about a secretary at a coroner's office here? Like, hey, I sweep the floor at the coroner's office. Let me go. Is she talking about breaking in to a filing cabinet? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she did come back with an update to say he's not deceased, according to the medical examiner's office. But then again, I don't expect the medical examiner's office to tell you unless they have a good reason. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that they leave it up to Dre so that she can inform the personal family before they just start telling anyone who calls in what's up, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. All this doesn't make any sense.
None of it makes any sense. So let's take the audience through to the things that what we have, and the reason why we're able to kind of piece these things together when these people do this crazy shit. The only thing you have to dedicate in order to figuring out the truth of something here on the internet is time. As long as you have a structure of archiving set up in order so that they can't delete stuff. Luckily, due to the MARVON story, we do have a structure of archiving. When these people post a public YouTube video, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the thousands of people out there grab screenshots, throw it in the Wayback Machine, download the video, archive it. So when they try, even when they try to withhold something they've done, luckily we have access to it. And then we can build the timeline of what happened and show you exactly what happened so that you can make up your own mind. You were able to make up your own mind the entire time we reported on the MARVON story because we didn't do what these people do. We don't come to you and convince you. We don't come to you and say, here's what happened. Now you got to trust us that that happened and make up your mind. We tell you where to get the info, show you where it's come from. And then that way, if you want to fact check us, you can. And then hopefully you make up your mind. So let's start here with outside Billy Joe house, grandmother of Quentin. Now here's this, before we even get anywhere, unfortunately, I have to commentate on them being outside of this woman's home, okay? And just real quick, I'd like to do that. So let's go ahead and hear what the audience wants to say to us about them being outside of the grandmother's home. Did he at least tell the truth that it's the grandmother's home? Okay, good. So here's the problem, peeps. This story is about Quentin Simon. It's an infant that the mother broke down and said that he was in a landfill. Do I have that right, Navy? I mean, that's an easy way of saying it. I don't want to get too deep.
Last I heard, yes.
Last I heard also, that's the easiest way to say it, is that the mother broke down and cried and got upset and admitted to someone else, like a family member, that for whatever reason, because she had, offed the baby. I'm trying to use YouTube words or else I'd, use other words. Because the baby was passed due to her hands, she had somehow deposited him in a landfill. So, of course, with this information hitting the police, they've been combing the landfill and waiting until they find evidence before they arrest the mother. That's not the grandmother. I want you to make sure you understand this. The grandmother is the grandmother. She's the woman who gave birth to the woman who claims her baby was in the landfill. Now, remember, right after she claimed this, she changed her story, said that she was on drugs, and that's why she admitted that. And she didn't really do anything. She didn't do anything herself, and she's going to go into drug treatment and get her act cleaned up because her baby's missing and she had nothing to do with it. So now she's in a drug treatment program somewhere. And because of that being medical information, these people can't find where that woman is so that they can go protest in front of the drug treatment facility. Also, because it's a medical facility, they wouldn't be allowed to protest there. So what's the second best thing to do? Find an innocent person who is related to the person that might have done this and go and scream with bullhorns and act a fool and try to make money off of your audience outside of their home. Now, you may not have a problem with them protesting in front of this grandmother's home. And I typically wouldn't complain too much as long as they were protesting outside of the home of the murmurer or the claimed murmurer. But if you are going to go to the second cousin, the aunts, the uncles, or a bestie's house just because one time this person lived there once and scream and yell in front of the neighbors and in front of that innocent person and play this game, yes, I'm going to have a problem with that. So that's where I sit. That's where I have an issue. If you agree that they should be protesting outside of the grandmother's home, not the mother, again, I will state that if the mother was holed up in some house and they wanted to go protest there, while I wouldn't do it myself because I wouldn't want, I think the police I've seen video of them combing the landfill. I've seen the police go into statements with the news and state how hard they're working to try to solve this because they want to find that baby. And I believe the police. I'm not like LB and Molly and Justin, who they don't believe that the police are trying to solve this. And they think they need to go protest in order to motivate the police to go do something. I think the police are doing everything they can do within the law to get an arrest in this situation. I just think that it's going to be really freaking hard for them to do it. And what Molly and Justin and others don't understand is because they have such a loss of understanding for true crime and all that kind of content, they don't understand that the police have to follow a legal operation in order to get an arrest. They think that the police can just go around and arrest whoever they want whenever they want. They think that, they should be able to bust into the grandma's house, arrest the grandma, now go arrest the nurses that are taking care of this woman in the treatment facility, arrest the woman who supposedly did this to the baby, and that it won't affect the trial or anything that happens in the future at all because, this is Molly Golightly and LB and Justin. So they just need to act. We need to protest because they need to go do something. What do they need to do? They need to arrest her. What if arresting her now without evidence would just ensure her gets away with killing this baby? So what? We want an arrest. We're going to protest. I can't understand the logic that leads them to protesting in front of the grandmother's home. That's what I'm trying to say. So do you agree or disagree, Navy? What's your position?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, the thing is that if you are upset with what the cops are doing or not doing, then you go protest the cops. You don't go bother people at their house.
Yeah. Why aren't they? See, I've asked people that have been watching this. Everybody says that they have said the reason they're protesting the grandmother's home is because they feel that the police need to make an arrest. That's what I was told about Justin and Molly and why LB supports Justin and Molly doing this. So if that's true, if that's the case, why aren't they protesting at the police station? What the hell did the grandmother do? Did the grandmother do something? Oh. Is that why they're at the grandmother's?
No, it was said. So someone, I think it might have been Lauren or somebody else said earlier in the live chat that You know who is at the grandmother's house? Mainstream media.
Well, of course. Do you know who? You know what? When the mainstream media appeared at the grandmother's house?
When?
After the protesters showed up.
We actually have in the general, we dropped a tweet that was put out by the local police station about the quote unquote protesters at these houses and stuff like that, including the grandmother's house.
Okay. So we've got, since October 12th, when the first YouTube protester arrived, we've responded to over 50 calls for service in that area, and we have made multiple arrests. This has taken precious resources away from... I gotta retweet this. Somebody needs to retweet this and let Molly and LB and all of them and tag them in. I would, but LB blocked me because she's dishonest. This has taken precious resources away from our department at a time when we're focused on the most massive investigation in the history of their place. Many of the people claiming to want justice have turned this tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus. Their names are Molly GOLIGHTLY, Justin, Justice for All, and LB, Leslie Bass YouTube channels. They do this all the time. They ran a fraud raiser that ripped off many of the community around the MARVON story. Actually, I probably should put McRae. MARVON McRae story. Many of the people claiming to want justice for Quentin have turned his tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus. They've made it impossible for those who live in the area to enjoy the peace and tranquility of their homes. It is unacceptable and has to stop. Over the next few days, we will be unveiling some measures to limit the disruption to this small community. Neighbors have had to endure more than their fair share of noise, vulgarity. Yes, Molly and Justin. Vulgarity. Yes, Boo Boo Betty. Vulgarity. Yes, LB, you're supporting them. You support this. You're just as gross. Over the presence over the last 3 weeks. We will do everything we can to once again give them a sense of normalcy. This afternoon, some of the protesters moved to Chatham County Police Department headquarters. This is a much more appropriate place to hold such a protest. Wow! So you're telling me that even before I read this, I, using logic, reasoning, and common sense, had deduced that it made no sense to be protesting there and it should have happened at the police station. Though, you know why they weren't at the police station originally? You want to know why they weren't originally at the police station? Because the police are on the news. Go look. They're on the news, and they are literally using not just every resource they have, but a shit ton of volunteer resources to just tirelessly comb through a landfill. By the way, landfills stack and stack and stack. Don't think you can just walk a landfill or fly a drone over a landfill and find what you need to find. When they dump there, it creates layer upon layer. They have to go and literally dig and move, and it takes sometimes months, if ever anything is found in those kind of situations. So my point in the end here is it's another example of why LB, Leslie Bass, will cry and say that Uni shouldn't be including me into the criticism against Molly and Justin. It's your fault that they do this. You could be on their damn streams, literally giving them the tiniest bit of criticism, LB. You could be up there when you're literally running with Dre lies and the conspiracy theories against Dre and playing all the games you play so that you can profit on YouTube. You could be up there, you know, telling Molly that this shit should stop, that she should actually protest when it makes sense. She should have very clear goals to her protesting. Do they want a law to change? Do they want the police to make an arrest now? I mean, we'll find out. We're going to go through some video and we're going to take a nice look at them protesting at this protest and previous protests they've been a part of, so that I can make some pretty clear points about how their protesting is nothing but performative, nothing but, like the police said, for money and cash. And we're going to actually prove to you that whoever wrote this is correct through what they say when they're protesting, when they choose to protest. It's almost like, you know how when Molly gets criticized, Navy, she'll do things that she is told are messed up just to kind of give a middle finger to the people that are criticizing her. Okay, so I think she does the same thing when she's protesting. I think she goes in and purposely is screaming vulgarities and acting a fool and acting like a maniac to scare people. And she does scare people, and she does scare children. And we've had testimony from neighbors that are around Molly and Buttface Betty and others that have been out protesting. We've heard them. We literally almost had a fight in front of the Bryan Laundrie residence due to the protesters there having a neighbor come up and just flip out. You know, and you can't even really get mad at the guy for doing it. Either way, we need to get back on track, though. We're going to be doing a lot more content looking at the way they protest so that we can decide, are they actually asking for something when they protest? Are they being clear? Can you tell what they want from their protest? If you go look at a political protest, you're going to hear the words that come out of their mouth and the things that these people are saying, and you're going to be able to say, okay, they want this law to change so that this happens, right? Or they think the cops messed up when they did this during this case, and they don't want that to happen again. You can't do that when you go and look at Molly Golightly or Buttface Betty or these other, like Justin for All, dressed like a grandma. I don't know what kind of thing can I say about Justin. You know what? He should be wearing that same outfit down there. I'd at least give him a little more respect. But my point is, in the end, these people, it's not that you can just, they have no defense. What is their defense to the criticism that they're not even clear about what they want when they're protesting? You can go and listen to them protest. You can check me on this. Listen to what they say, what comes out of their mouth, what they say they're wanting, and ask yourself if it makes any sense. Okay, so when you hear them screaming, I don't know, maybe you're going to hear them scream, because I've only clicked through them protesting. I haven't watched big chunks of it because I want to watch it live with you and react to it live. But I've heard them saying things about this case, and maybe they want this woman to be arrested. Again, they're not even at the woman's residence. The woman moved out, went to rehab, long-term facility. It's not short-term, so she's not still staying at the grandmother's. I'd like you to actually listen to what they're saying they want, and I will end my shitty rant, and let's actually hear. Because we're here not to figure out anything about their protest tonight. What we're here to figure out is whether it is because of LB and Molly that this narrative about MARVON passing in the last 24 to 30 some hours, whether it is true or whether this is something that they made up for some reason. And once I present this to you, I'm going to tell you why they would want, because yes, there's a reason that they would want to make this up. There is a very obvious and clear reason that they would want you to believe that MARVON passed. But let's hit play.
Right now with Wynette to see if anything.
I'm sorry, y'all. I haven't streamed for a few days, and I'm going to get the ranting out of me tonight.
Has happened to MARVON
tonight. Have I even shouted out my PayPal? Hey guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on UNIRocktv on Twitter. Now that it's owned by Elon, it's changing. I'm going to start using it more often. And if you really want to support us, we got Patreon and paypal.me/UNIRock. You can find a link pinned to the top of the chat. Okay, I got to remember to do that. Sorry.
There is supposedly someone from Dre's camp, I think.
I want to go through this man's body language too, because I don't think it's just what he's saying. I think the way he's saying it shows dishonesty, because you hear him kind of taking a break in what he's saying and processing things in a different way, and you hear a vocal change when he tries to blame it on Dre's camp. We have checked with Dre's camp again, and now I'm not going to promise you that they would tell us. Like if MARVON did pass and Dre had told them all to tell people that he didn't, on social media at least, right? Maybe they would go around and tell people that he didn't pass. But that's why it's important that you know that MARVON Jr., I was going to say senior, that his passing, or the rumor of his passing, where it came from, because I'm going to tell you now, they're going to lie about it in the future. Once you know how this happened, if it turns out he had passed they're going to lie about how this information came out to try and make it look like they didn't do anything wrong. Based on the recordings and what they said and did and what they admitted, they have no clue whether he passed or not. They're going off of a, well, I thank you, R-Top, and I love you too, buddy. But you get what I'm saying. They are going off of a rumor that was reciprocally created by Molly's lying, okay? Ricocheting around after Molly lied to get views and clicks and clickbait. That's where it came from. We have the recordings. We can show you how it happened. If coincidentally MARVON did pass right now or tomorrow, they would go out and tell you, first they'd delete this stuff so that you couldn't find it, and then they would go out and say that they were right all along. And we have the proof that they were not right all along based on their own admissions. Okay, now first things first, I want you to hear his body language, and I want you to hear what he's saying, because he says that he's trying to contact Wynette, okay, to try to find out if MARVON actually passed. So my first problem, because we did crash earlier, and I want to make sure I say this, is that Wynette is not a reliable source. Dre would not talk to Wynette. I don't think she would talk to anyone who is talking to Wynette after what Wynette and Letitia did. They both took money. They went out on social media, lied, and called Dre a murderer and a poisoner and a starver of the kids and an abuser of her own children. They tried to get her children taken away from her while she was suffering through her husband's injuries. And then they themselves took large amounts of money through the lies they told. This all just happened. We've been covering it. Yes, it's that same Wynette. So I don't believe that. We also know factually that Dre has been told by her lawyers to cut off any communication with them or that would lead to them. So I don't believe that Dre would have let anybody know that would let Wynette be a source. I think if Wynette heard, she would literally get it from rumor to rumor to rumor, from person to person to person. Well, if let's say Dre did tell cousin 5B that it happened, personally, I believe with all the harassment and with the money making from Wynette and Letitia, I believe that Dre would have told cousin 5B not to tell anyone that this happened. So what would, if Wynette said like, yo, cousin 5B told nephew 3 over here and it went to the aunt and then the aunt told me, how would Wynette even know if she's disconnected from Dre and has no way to check it, whether she got good information or not? She wouldn't. It would still be a rumor even if Wynette heard it from her own family due to the way her family treated Dre, made money off of MARVON's passing, and lied about and tried to frame Dre. So that's what I'm trying, just to make sure I get through to you guys. Okay, now, I know that's a lot for me to say and then ask you to focus on Justin's speech, and I will break it down for you though, because I want you to ask yourself whether he's bullshitting or not. So turn on your bullshit meter, your bullshit radar. Turn it on, okay?
Thing has happened to MARVON. When we're on the phone right now with Wynette to see if anything has happened to MARVON.
Okay, they're on the phone with Wynette, a horrible, unreliable source that's already been shown to be a liar, bloodthirsty, willing to try to make money off MARVON's injuries, and someone to frame Dre. Horrible source, but they're going to use her.
There is supposedly someone from
supposedly
Dre's camp, I think.
Hear his voice kind of, you know, I think that's a little indicator. He's experiencing a little bit of stress, and he's definitely trying to kind of play off the fact that it's Dre's camp. It didn't come from Dre's camp. We've got the video earlier in the day where Molly literally says this based off of something she's looking at on her phone from a live chat. So it didn't come from Dre's camp. I don't know what. Can you not say how you know? Can't you give any good information ever in the history of your life, Justin? Can you tell us why you believe what you believe, why you're using Winnet as a source, why you guys are doing this all live when it's such a serious thing? Aren't you worried that maybe Dre hasn't told certain people and that they want to find out in a controlled environment where they can be comforted? Aren't you worried about the damage you're doing? Because it is damaging. I'm sorry. It's not like you have involved yourself personally with this family to gain these connections you're claiming are the ones delivering the information. If you were just reporting it on YouTube and you had paid these connections, it'd be a different criticism and you wouldn't be in the wrong for reporting it. But the fact that you injected yourself into their lives, attacked Dre like you did, framed her, lied on her, and then profited off of Marvon's death, and then you choose to go live and play this game to try to hook more viewers into your stream is pathetic.
I think that's saying that
man, it's taking you a while to come up with this. Those are some long pauses, bro.
Camp, I think.
You think it's Dre's camp, so you're not even sure if supposedly it came from Dre's camp. It supposedly came from Dre's camp, you think. I don't think you're thinking.
That's saying that Marvon.
Can we time that I think that was a 12-second
May have passed.
Why are you live streaming in the driver's seat while driving? You and Molly would tear anyone else up for this. You talk about how they're being unsafe and they're endangering other people driving at night like this and yada yada. You guys just covered the Kylie Rodney story where she took a left instead of a right, wound up in a river, and then drowned, right? Probably because she was on her phone, right? It could have been. And yet you're fine just, blatantly streaming on your phone while you're just, flying around. Not only that, you just got done terrorizing the neighborhood through your protests. So people are already angry at you. So while they're getting in their car to leave the protest site where the police themselves are calling Justin and Molly and Boo-Boo Buttface Betty out for being profiters off of people's deaths, infants' deaths. The police themselves just showed it on Twitter, called them out for doing this. They get in the car on their phones with the lights on in their cars at night, and they just, just flinging that steering wheel around, speeding their asses out of there. Could you imagine if you're a neighbor, you just got done watching them, justice, and you can donate to my PayPal. It's booboo.betty.com. And then you watch them get into their car. They all get on their phones. They're all swigging back some whiskey and just speeding off the property. Really great people here protesting. The car's like, boop, 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 boop. Error, you're streaming. We're not going to let you keep driving. The car itself is telling him how dangerous this is.
Just give me 1 second.
Give me 1 second. I almost wrecked 14 times. That's why I had those long pauses. That's his seatbelt. Navy, don't tell me that's his seatbelt going off. That has to be his seatbelt alarm.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it really is.
And his seatbelt alarm is going off.
Good Lord. They're all just a hazard to everybody.
These guys are the epitome of justice, and they're the epitome of justice for all. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, because I got told in the live chat earlier tonight that they actually had to move an elderly woman out of the neighborhood because of these protesters, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah. Children, too. Children. It's been said days ago when this first started that they had to have kids that wanted to go to school the next day get out of the neighborhood and stay with family members. This is how loud they're being. Like, the police have responded to 50 calls just on that one tiny spot where they're protesting. They're not doing anything good. Again, why would someone who wants to do good do the correct thing, like do something that makes positive change, ever go there and act like this? Because that's not what they're doing. The police themselves have told you they're there to make money off of the YouTube viewers who are duped into believing them. And you know, it's why they have such a hard, with the views these people get on certain cases, they should literally have hundreds of thousands of subs by now, all of them. The reason they don't is because of how many people end up realizing, oh my fucking God, we have been paying these people to literally harass people in tragedies, and they leave the channels. He's like, damn it, I want to stream, but this car won't stop beeping at me. Why? His car's like, damn it, where's the, you know, like if you just look at his screen, it's over there like screaming at him, put on your seatbelt and I will stop beeping at you.
1 second.
He's like, there, are you happy, beeping car? I pulled over. I'm going to put it in park. I don't think they could, you know what? I just think that the reason that they are like this is because they are the most incompetent, empty-headed people that exist. I think it's how they're in this situation. I think it's why they keep appearing like this.
And they're incompetent. They are empty-headed. They are narcissistic and entitled. Like somehow they believe that, yeah, and entitled. Like, what kind of entitlement do you think you're going to go down there and something you're going to do in front of the grandmother's house is going to change the way the cops do stuff? Like, oh my God, I don't even understand that train of thought.
After the cops respond that, let's say the first 6 times, because they've responded 50 times, wouldn't you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go do something better for this situation, right? Wouldn't you say that to yourself?
I'm going to go stop wasting police resources that should be finding that little boy by being out here and causing the scene and having them have to deal with us, versus spending more manpower finding that little boy.
Factually speaking, and you can again check me on this, that department is using every resource they have to the max. There are people volunteering to do extended searches here, and they're just combing through areas looking for this little infant boy, and they're doing everything in their power. They don't have the resources to have people from other towns, other counties, other states literally driving down there from all over the United States, the trashiest people, the most broke, desperate for money people out there, literally trying to get down there so they can try to get the donos rolling in off of this subject. And this is the same thing they did to the Gabby Petito story. They were literally, like, once they knew that Brian Laundrie wasn't on the property, they were still, like, standing out there, torturing the neighbors. And again, I get it. You want to protest to the Laundries. Wouldn't you care, if you really do care, though, that the Laundries have done something that affects other people in a negative way, and you don't want to violate the rights of innocent people like the Laundries did by supporting their son after he did what he did, wouldn't you yourself not want to also do that to the neighbors, for fuck's sake? Because you're just as bad. Like, whoever's doing this is just as bad. I don't care if you're just showing up. Justin says, no, UNIRock's wrong because I didn't have a bullhorn. I was just standing there cheering everyone along and live streaming. No, you're just as bad as the rest of them, bro.
Yeah.
And they know it. They make their views off of the outrage. They literally need to put themselves in a situation where the majority of people are going to watch them so that they can criticize them, because that's where they get the majority of their views from. But go ahead.
I was just saying, like, they're supposedly down there because, you know, no one's going to find justice without them being there. And yet their actions are directly interfering with the largest search, the largest police, like, you know, campaign to find somebody in the history of that county. And
they can't argue it. They can't say that you're wrong. They can't say I'm wrong. They would have to then state that the police are wrong because the police are out there saying the same thing. The police didn't even say that they couldn't protest. When the police found out that they had moved the protest to the police station, the police said, good, that is appropriate. What you are doing is inappropriate at first. Again, though, they don't get that double-edged knife at the police station. when they're at the downtown, when they're down on someone's street doing it, they are in the family's face. They are involved in the story. They're involved in the family. They feel that they're doing justice. Their form of justice, they won't admit it when they're on their streams, because if they were honest about the justice they're seeking, then they would be banned from the platform and get in a lot more trouble than they already get in. Their justice is understood by the craziest members of their audience. It's to pester people who they feel are bad people. Okay, so the Petito, the Laundrie family helped Brian Laundrie escape. So let's go pester him at his house to get some form of justice while the police find Laundrie. The grandmother, somehow they rationalized that the grandmother is helping the granddaughter avoid justice. So the grandmother now needs justice from Justin and Molly and the rest and Buttface Betty, so that they can go and scream at the grandmother's home and get the grandmother to get that justice. So the thing is, though, if you ask them, how did you get justice for Marvon? How did you get justice for any of the previous cases you've covered? How did you get justice for Quentin? They will have a mental breakdown and start to attack you and scream at you because they know that they're not getting justice in any way that they can represent. And they are those kind of people. They are. Because when they get angry at somebody, they think that doxing and threatening them and attacking them is some form of retribution or some form of justice. Like, there's too many examples of it.
Well,
I mean, he's got his damn... Yeah, go ahead.
Say Chris D says, when they were here in Northport, let's see, I lived 2 blocks away. We had our whole department working and wasting time on their BS and made it impossible to get through traffic here. Northport had to make new laws.
They did. And you can even check that. You can go, we showed it on stream a week or 2 ago. It's in Florida, right? I know in Florida they had to make new laws over what they did down there. What's funny is, you know, Justin and Molly and all of them, they're going to have their cash apps and, you know, profit. They're going to be profiting throughout the whole thing. A lot of people just don't understand how you get somebody out there, and if they give an opinion on certain topics that YouTube doesn't like, they'll demonetize their channel. You hear about this happening often, right? Oh, this person who talks politics or talks this kind of thing gives an opinion over here or talks about this. They get demonetized because, you know, YouTube doesn't like that stuff. Or edgy comedy. Edgy comedy gets demonetized all the time, right? Though you can literally do what these people do 24/7 and nothing ever happens. Now, we're talking about their regular content should be looked at by YouTube in some kind of way. But more so, the doxing and the harassment and the other things, that's being handled at least, so. Oh my God, @crime factor is his Venmo, @crime factor. You did just show a good number of driving crimes, Justin. Does he not realize this? How do you have a... Look, I don't care if you break the law here and there, okay? Because you're an adult. So if you do, you might face some consequences and just don't hurt anybody. But if you're going to live stream yourself and you're going to have your literal Venmo and Cash App crime factor, and you're just sitting there breaking all these traffic violations and shit. I mean, isn't there a little bit of hypocrisy? Isn't that a little bit cringy? Can't we laugh at that, please?
Holy fuck, I think it's my phone.
No, it's your car is abandoned. Your car is worried. You're literally driving so dangerously here, your car is shutting down.
Okay.
It's gained literal intelligence and has shut itself down.
Okay.
It's your seatbelt, dude.
So, let me turn it around. Settings. Camera.
Oh my God. Look at this is exciting.
I'm live.
Let's hear some of this protesting, Navy. Let's hear this shit. And let's hear what Justin and Molly and Boo Boo and the rest of them, and let's hear what they love doing, and let's hear what LB loves supporting and hanging with. It's dark. It's nighttime. We have literal testimony from neighbors on this street stating they've moved elderly and children off the street They can't stay in their own homes because of how these people are acting. The police have already stated these people have been, they've been called to deal with this over 50 times in an extremely short period of time. And then on top of that, the police said they're doing this for profit and money. They're not doing this for any type of protest reasons. Now let's see what they've been doing. Is that Molly? Is that Molly's voice?
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely Molly. Why is she... What could you possibly say to the grandmother? The grandmother lives in that home. She didn't go out and enable the granddaughter. She wasn't responsible for the granddaughter's or the daughter's behavior. The daughter is an adult. There is literally nothing that this grandmother should be yelled at for that I can think of. If there is, tell me. What could you possibly judge the grandmother for? She didn't do what the Laundries did.
No.
She didn't protect the mother. She wants the baby found just as much as anyone else. She wants whoever did it to go to prison. She wants this to be over. She is miserable. She is dealing with the loss of the infant. It's her grandchild. That is her grandchild missing. She is literally devastated that her grandchild, an infant baby, is missing. If that grandmother has done something to where she deserves this, put it in my live chat. I'm genuinely asking. Well, Daisy says it's gross what they yelled last night.
Yeah. So no. Two things right fast.
Linda, no. Go ahead.
Two things. One, here's the deal. You had this grandmother who's going through the loss of this child, right? Of her grandbaby. And on top of that, it's possible that it was her daughter that did it, who she had to help get into rehab, right? And then you're going to spend night after night when she's already devastated, blaming her when she's already under enough guilt, because you know she's sitting there thinking to herself, what more could I have done to prevent this from happening? And you got Molly and the rest of those, chuckles out there. And then two, if Molly and Justin, all them really wanted justice for this person, why aren't you at the landfill helping out?
Appalachian says LB said multiple times that what's happening at the home is wrong and causing further harm. Can you get me some links, please? Because I need to hear that. And I need the timestamps for a video I'm doing. That would really help me out. You don't even have to go get me links. If you know what video she said it in, let me know. Because last time I checked, she was still supporting Molly. So, yeah. But I don't watch all of her stuff. I can't. So. She was not supposed to leave the baby in the daughter's care. She had proof her daughter was harming the kid, but still told the babysitter to let the daughter... That has nothing to do with protesting. Like, these are literal... This hasn't been proven in court. That's shit that she should be going to... turned into the police for, okay? Literally. That... We can't... Can you prove any of that? We can't prove that, number one. There's a justice system set in place. I still don't understand how the grandmother deserves this, what we're seeing on the screen, because people claim that the grandmother wasn't supposed to leave the baby in the daughter's care. But see, I heard the opposite, though. So is it a rumor or is that the truth? Do you have a source? Can you get it for me? Custody papers are on YouTube. I don't know if I don't know, man. Hold on. How are the custody papers going to be on YouTube? And that doesn't mean that she can't leave the baby with the daughter. So can you hook me up with that too, if you don't mind? I didn't make claims. I have proof that LB is supporting Molly. So it's not a claim. So sorry. You can't support Molly in one hand and then not support her in the other. So sorry, it's not a claim. I'm not trusting you. That's why I asked. I'm legit would like to be able to show what Leslie's done in my video correctly. And you're the only person who's ever said that she said this. And I have talked to people that, you know, supposedly have watched the majority of what Leslie's been putting out lately. So, and it's possible they missed it. I just need to know where it is so that I can have it, so that I can literally accurately represent Leslie. So, oh yeah, haven't you heard? LB no longer talks to Molly. Yeah. They made today a fucking circus, says Jersey Girl. The daughter did a kinship agreement with the grandmother when her baby tested positive for drugs at birth. The state agreed to the agreement. Okay, well, that's helping a little bit, but that still doesn't make sense for this showing. It doesn't make sense for this showing. The baby was taken by CPS, given to the grandmother. I don't have my computer up. I'll have to find the docs. Do me a solid. I don't want the docs. I don't want them. I trust you, though. So I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, and you can explain it to me. I don't want to see a custody agreement. I have no care for that. Apparently, the mother and grandmother went partying after the baby was missing. I heard that on 10 to Life. Okay. Mother and grandmother went partying. I mean, here's my deal. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying, how do you know that? One, right? If you did, that should be given to CPS because she can be charged. It still makes what they're doing wrong. They shouldn't be doing this, right? For all we know, that the police are planning on arresting the grandmother and the mother once they have enough evidence to be able to do so. I think it's wrong to protest where the mother is, and I think it's wrong to protest where the grandmother is. So what I said earlier is if you know where the mother is and you want to protest there, I'm not going to argue with you. But if you know where the grandmother is, I will argue it, because the charges against the grandmother, in my opinion, aren't so devastating from what we know now. I think they are devastating. But where we sit now, I just think a lot of people have no concept of innocent until proven guilty, or have no concept of the level of, punishment. Like, still, do we think that the grandmother letting the daughter watch or, see her baby, do we know that if there wasn't, by the way, there could be conditions to the agreement also that we don't know about. Now, I know some of you have read the paperwork, and I'll talk to Chimera tomorrow, and she can fill me in. I'm sorry to say, though, I don't think you're going to find anything that will lead protesting in front of the grandmother's house to be acceptable. At the worst, we can't say at the worst she would have. I was going to say at the worst, she didn't kill the baby, right? She didn't conspire to kill the baby. Maybe I'm giving the grandmother too much credence to say that she didn't want the baby dead. She didn't want the baby to be killed or anything like that, right? So let's say at the worst, she could have wanted the baby dead. It's really horrible to even think that, because I still don't believe it. Let's go with it's a very slim possibility the grandmother wanted the baby dead, okay? So let's say, barring all other possibility, barring she wanted anything like that, what is the worst thing the grandmother did? It would be negligence. It would be violating some kind of order that she had, that she arranged with the state. And another thing would be, you're saying that they found drugs in the baby's, they found drugs in the mother and baby's blood, and so they had to give the baby to the grandmother. And the grandmother let the mother see the baby or take the baby, and the baby didn't come back. I still find it that the grandmother made a mistake there. She didn't commit murder. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're going to tell me that she is complicit in the murder, or unless you're going to tell me that she's like, complicit's the wrong word. It might work, but conspiracy to commit murder, that she knew what the daughter did and tried to cover for it, like with the Brian Laundrie thing. That's how they used the excuse to protest there, because the parents had known that he killed Gabby, but still covered for him. I see the worst thing that the grandmother can be charged with or done, barring conspiracy, would be a bad decision. Are you following me, Navy?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Regardless of what the actual aspect is, the truth of the matter is these protests are doing nothing more than deterring the cops from being able to maximize resources to find this child. That's it, hands down. Right?
Well, Nanya, I get the joke, but my point is, I don't blame people for being angry over the situation. I blame people for allowing this kind of, this horrible thing happened, so we're going to act like the grandmother's the murderer now. I'm fine acting like the mother's the murderer based on what we know. Now, that takes a lot. Like, I would think all of us would take a lot for us to act like someone is the murderer when they don't have a body and they haven't been presented in court any charges or anything like that. I think it takes a lot. Well, and I could give you proof to that claim. When I knew that Molly and Letitia and Justin and Leslie had pushed the fraud razor, had covered for Letitia, had lied for Letitia, had helped Letitia do things to make more money, and kept advertising it after they had enough evidence to say Letitia had ripped everyone off, I still, for weeks, sat here and treated them as if they were innocent and treated them as if there was another possibility in order to not whip you up into a pitchfork mass against Molly, Letitia, Leslie, and Justin. I did them a favor for how long? What was it, a month and a half, Navy? Where, let's say the first 3 weeks, maybe I should have acted that way. The second 3-week period, I should have honestly given Molly and the rest of them, I should have been way more heavy with them, at least in the later 3 weeks. I did that on purpose, though. Like, I also have a desire and had a desire that whole time to call Molly out, to call Justin and Leslie and the rest of them out, and to sit here and go off on them and blah, blah, blah. I had that want, right, for that entire second 3-week period. But I had to think about, the possibility, what's there, the fact of whether or not there's performative things going on. Now, even though, like, I have a lot of problems with what I know about this story. Now, that's me not knowing that there were actual custody papers already on YouTube. I don't know if I would believe them in the first place. Why would those get released? Wouldn't that hurt the investigation? Why do these YouTubers, did they lie to obtain them? Because they definitely didn't obtain them any normal way that I could think of. They'd have to go find out where this custody agreement was at. They'd have to pose as a member of the family or someone with authority to get the papers and then submit for them and then get them and put them on YouTube. And all these things are extremely disturbing. And even though, let's say you have those custody papers because a family member reaches out and gives them to you, I still don't think you should show them on YouTube, because you're literally like showing the custody papers. You're not thinking about the infant. You might be mad at the mother, right? But the grandmother and the infant definitely need to have that thought process of, you at least, what I'm trying to say, I'll say it in the most simple way, is this: you're not giving the grandmother any credence towards her innocence whatsoever, or the mother. In the mother's case, while I still think there's major problems, I can understand why you're doing that. With the grandmother, I can't. You see what I'm saying? The worst crime that the grandmother could have committed, barring the worst ones, which I don't see any evidence that she actually helped the mother kill the baby, the worst crime that she did, you should never be yelling in front of her house. You should never be violating her privacy. You should never be going at her in a psycho way. Are you feeling me? There's no way, even if you're saying, but she let the daughter see the child. So, I mean, that's wrong, and she should get in trouble for it, and she should have to, whatever, like, answer to CPS. Well, whatever agency's in charge, she should answer to them for doing that. Why would the grandmother, though, allow the mother to see the baby or to have the baby for a night or something? Barring her being extremely evil or something to that effect, everyone should hold their breath with the grandma and wait. Because I'm sorry to say it, this is the same conversation we had about Johnny Depp. I'm not comparing stories. I'm saying the reaction to the story. I had people coming to me telling me that Johnny Depp was guilty and he was wrong and that Amber was right for a year and a half before the Johnny Depp trial started. And now 99% of every one of those people will sit there and tell me that Johnny's innocent. They've seen the evidence for themselves and they were wrong. Okay. No, that doesn't compare to this story, but the concept does. In extreme circumstances, the mother making the admission, the baby being missing, I can see forfeiting the mother's the thought process around the mother in order to call her out. I can't understand what would be there for the grandma without it being conspiracy to kill. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's my point.
Yeah, and that what I don't understand is the whole like crying baby noises that they keep playing over and over again. That's horrible.
Who? Whoa, who?
That's what they know. They've been outside the house.
Who?
Outside of Quentin's grandmother's house. They're playing like, I guess they have like a recording of like a baby crying, and they're like blasting it toward the house.
You got to be kidding me. That's the same thing Molly did when after Brian was in the reserve and everybody knew he was dead. Molly blasted, or maybe it was after we found out he was dead. One of the two, Molly blasted his voice outside of the parents' house. Yeah, just to torture them. And yes, she did it to torture them. Molly was trying to torture the parents with the audio she was playing over the judgment she'd made in the laundry case. I just think it was it was after they found the remains. Okay, thank you, Lauren. And if that's true, if you're correct, which I believe you, I'm just saying if you are right, that is Molly being the most evil fucking person ever. Okay, so you have to tell me that you got in a vehicle, drove down to a home of these parents who the only crime they committed was trying to help their son run into the woods. By the way, Brian did tell his parents that it was an accident, and they most likely believed him due to this trauma, due to the stress. So I'm not defending the Laundries. I don't like them. I'm against them, but I'm just saying. And the parents did what they did for their son, and they were wrong. Though Molly is just as bad as she's evil in the same way that if you're trying to inflict the suffering of parents losing a child on the parents, you're just as bad as anyone else who either intentionally or unintentionally tries to inflict that suffering. Now, I'm not calling you as bad as a murderer, because a murderer also takes a life and inflicts the suffering. So Molly isn't responsible for taking a life, but she's responsible for the same suffering that Brian inflicted on Gabby Petito's parents. At least she wanted that to be that way. I mean, I don't know if the Laundries were home and they heard it, but if they did, then yes, she's just as guilty in that respect, in my opinion. Anyway, so one more time, I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. Like I told you, we are going to talk about this story later. So I shouldn't have been playing this and asking about the grandma yet. It doesn't matter what you tell me about the grandma, barring the fact that she helped kill the kid or some other extreme thing that's very extreme. I'm still not going to be okay with even getting remotely close to what these people are doing. I don't care if the grandma let the daughter have the kid for a night. I don't care if the grandma... Now, I do care if the grandma knew that the daughter might kill the kid and let the daughter have the kid for the night. Okay, then I'll consider the grandma's evil, but I still won't be okay with the protesting. You know, like, again, this protesting is to shame or it is to gain justice against the grandmother because they don't have the daughter at their fingertips. This is a pitchfork mob. So if I have to explain why pitchfork mobs are bad, I'm sorry, but we would have to regress back to the witch hunt days, which is like what, the 1200s or some shit, 1600s, I don't know. And one of the main reasons that a pitchfork mob is bad is because they end up getting innocent people killed, thinking that they, off of just a small piece of misinformation, have the bad person. Or they'll take somebody who who might have not committed a bad crime and maybe just committed the crime of driving the stagecoach to the witch's house, and now they get killed by the pitchfork mob. They had no clue they had a witch in the back seat, right? You feel me? You see what I'm saying? So what these people are doing is actively getting a pitchfork mob together. Then they're paying for the expenses to be able to assemble the pitchfork mob through YouTube donations and super chats. and then they're going and executing the justice that they believe that they have researched. So I can make one of the biggest points against them easily, because Justin in the beginning is part of the pitchfork mob. But what happens at the end of the video? He ends up on his cell phone driving around town in the dark without a seatbelt on. You know, if there was a pitchfork mob roaming the streets, Justin could have gotten yanked out of that car by the pitchfork mob, and they could have put him up on the to get stoned over the fact that he's driving irresponsibly and blah blah blah. You feel me? Pitchfork mobs are literally the worst possible thing. Okay, we've got timestamps. We're on a tangent. I'll tell you what I will do, though. I will fact check every claim made against the grandmother with you, not tomorrow, or not the next stream. Oh, good. The weekend's coming up. This weekend, by the end of the weekend, we will have a grandma stream. And we'll see. We'll find out what the worst thing is that grandma did and ask ourselves if we should be outside of her house going psycho crazy. Though we do have a timestamp. Oh my goodness. I'm never going to find it. Never going to find it now. Ice Queen says they don't give a damn about these cases, sadly. Yeah, I agree. Wicked, thank you. S&D, Ann P, Judith, Julie got one. Nice. I don't see the last one. It'll pop up. Thank you, Wicked. I appreciate it. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to come on, dude. I'm in the wrong room. That might help. Okay, here we go. All right. So that was just 7 hours ago. This was just not that one. The other one I showed you just was from 7 hours ago. Huh. That's the snbc13.com. We need to have that. Whoa! Guess what, Navy? I need the mods. I need the mods to do something for me. Okay.
Double check.
Yes. So that article from SNB, I need confirmation on whether it's been deleted really quick. Because this article... Oh, yeah, it's down. It's down. It's gone. I need it confirmed. But this article... Okay. Let me go ahead and do this really fast. Okay. I got several clips to show you, but we just had a development. I'm going to see if Navy and the mods can fact check the development for me on their devices, see if they can get the article to come up for me. Not just with that link that's in the MGL room, but try to go to the link yourself, because maybe that link is broken. See if we can get to the web page from another link. So, of course, tonight we're not here to talk about Quentin's grandmother or mother or where the blame is or where it isn't. And one more time, I don't give a shit whether the grandmother wanted to go out partying and left the baby with the mother, and then the mother went out and did what she did. In regards to whether they should be screaming out there and all that, no, they should go and file a report. They should make sure the grandmother was reported and then report on the story on YouTube. They shouldn't be out there in front of her house. It's insane. So basically that means all over the United States now, it'd be valid for groups of people to go protest when someone allows for a child to hang out with a mother that they're not supposed to see. You can go to their house and scream for weeks on end and at night with bullhorns. And we can't allow that to go there. I'm sorry. Now, when it comes to murder, I wouldn't give you a pass, but I would understand, because a baby going missing does cause people to get upset, and it would cause locals, or it would cause people in the area maybe to make a bad decision. But because of this new development, we need to get on point, because it's already getting late. Okay, so Molly put out that Marvon McRae had passed away. So what we did, we went and grabbed everything that was out there and we ended up finding out that a couple other YouTubers did this too. We all came to the same result, and essentially, the first time that it was mentioned was on a Molly stream. And then after that, Justin and Molly, as you just saw in that clip, the original clip I played before the protesting part, Justin was driving. Remember when he was driving without a seatbelt in the middle of the night like a psychopath? He was saying that they were trying to contact Wynette to get confirmation on Marvon passing. After that happened, they get back to the hotel and they go further into how they're trying to get a hold of Wynette to confirm. Then Molly ends up putting out a Facebook post that says Marvon passed away, fly high with the angels, and all that stuff that I showed you. And then Molly sometime in that timeline also puts out that she learned about Marvon passing away from an article. Then LB, and I don't know how many hours ago she released her video, but today LB releases a video where she says that Marvon McCray confirmed passing by close family members, and she uses an article from SNBC19.com to confirm that Marvon had passed. So what I was about to do was open that article and show you a piece of it. Though, when I went to open it, I can't get it to open. It says that that article has been deleted. So, did you have any luck opening it or in any of the mods? Let me go to general.
So, I tried to open it and it wouldn't open like yours. And then I went to the website itself and tried searching for the article and it does not exist. So did Nunya and Nerd. And then both of them said they can't find it either. Like it's gone.
Nerd Angle also. So, okay, breaking news. The website that LB and Molly have used as the basis for their claims to learn about Marvon's passing has been deleted by the webmaster. The people that host that website have deleted Marvon's article. It's gone. Since we went live. When we first went live, it was there. I could open it. Now that we're live and I'm about to show it to you, now I did have my stream crash and we did watch some videos. So it's been a couple hours. But either way, in just a couple hours between the start of this stream to now, they've deleted that article. And I think I have a theory for why. What about you, Navy? You got any ideas?
As to why it was deleted? Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Exactly. Lauren also says it's gone. Yeah, no, Nunya, she did. She did say what you're saying. True. But she also, in a stream from two of my mods, they heard Molly also try to use the article. Now, Molly was lying is why. She's doing her normal thing where she's putting out multiple things. But Nunya says Molly stated she learned about the passing from a post that Dre made. Then when Net was texted by a nurse and told, then it became, oh, okay, the news confirmed it. Thank you, Nunya. I didn't read your whole message, but yes, you're correct. So Nunya said it best. Molly using the article to confirm was her third story. Okay, so Molly has made 3 separate claims about how she learned that Marvon passed, starting with Dre, or then someone close to Dre, moving on to Wynette was texted by a nurse, which is literally insane, and I didn't believe that at all when I heard it. Then she said the news outlet. So why is Molly changing her story? Because Molly was the source of this, and it was her lies. And I will now present why. Also, don't take anything away from old Leslie Bass. I know some of you like her. We can agree to disagree on this. I myself have been the target of Leslie and her lies many times, and I have forgiven her multiple times and tried to put bygones, the past to the past. But every time it becomes profitable for her to lie on either me or anyone else, she will do it in the snap of a finger. And I'm going to tell you now, those of you that are defending her, you wait until she does it to you. It'll happen. Mark my words. Mark my words. Okay, you'll be coming back and telling me. Mark my words. So the only thing to do now that the narrative of Marvon McCray passing is crumbling in front of LB, Justin, and Molly's eyes is to talk about why they would lie about this. And I've done a little bit of analytical data to find out why. I've looked at their views. I've looked at the views they're getting with this current story compared to the views they were getting from the MARVON McRae story. I've looked at where they were in the MARVON McRae story in the same amount of time where they were in this current story, and I think I've got a good hypothesis for what happened. Also, with Justin lying his ass off and changing his story so often, and with Molly changing her story and lying her ass off so often in regards to this situation, I also want to talk with you and Navy about how fucked up it is that Molly and Justin and LB all jumped on the bandwagon to report this story, and why it's just another example of them claiming that they care about stories like this. They care about the weight of those stories, the effect of those stories, but what they end up showing us is that they don't care. In fact, the opposite, they lie and skis to make money off these stories. Before we watch some more videos or go offline. So let's get there. Basically, what I've found in looking at all this is that they are getting a completely different reaction from the base level up when it comes to this current story of Quentin the baby. So those of you that have inundated yourself in this baby disappearing, depending on what you've seen, hold differing opinions. When I talked to the Discord mods earlier today, and when I talked to them before today about the Quentin story, I hadn't heard about the grandmother somehow having some blame in the disappearance, or I don't want to say blame. Hey, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. I don't want to say blame in the disappearance. That's stating it wrong. Have some blame in making bad decisions. There we go. About what had led to the baby's fate. This is the first time I've had anybody bring that up, though I don't really watch a lot of skeezy true crime channels. And on top of that, like I've said, I haven't looked into the Quentin story deeper than where I needed to in relation to these stories. Again, though, it doesn't matter. Short of the grandmother herself being the murderer, I still don't understand why you're going to protest outside of a murderer's home when the murderer is, okay, I said that wrong because it's not the murderer's home. So I still don't understand why you're going to protest outside of someone that made bad decisions relating to a murderer, how you're going to place blame and how you're going to make judgments. And let's just go into that for a split second before let's do it after. Do you want to add anything before we move on, Navy, with the MARVON McRae death reporting? Do you want to add anything in at the end of that? Because we're going to switch topics.
I think it right. I think the thing is that what we're seeing here is people who are like everyone's been saying, the live chat and stuff like that, trying to use these tragedies to make money. So they will forego double checking sources if they think that the topic of it is going to clickbait people to come watch them, give them money and all this kind of stuff. And then later on, there's like, well, it looked like it was real, and then they'll make up a whole bunch of excuses as to why it was okay. Move on to
something else.
Right? Yeah. No, they'll ignore it completely. Yeah, 100%. And it's just sick. And that's how you know. Like, if you still like watching these people, then it kind of tells you about yourself a little bit, I think.
I agree, because we're dealing with something higher than clickbait. We're dealing with something more than just someone wanting to make money off of some shitty reporting, right? I mean, you look at Katie, and a lot like Katie Joy, I'm going to bring her up. She's been attacking me a lot of late. And if you look at what she does, her base content seems to be centered. SNBC with its 1.1 out of 100 reliability rating is more trustworthy and accurate than Molly Golightly, Justin for All, Winnett, and LB. At least they deleted the article. True, Lauren. I will go with you on that. Shit, I just lost my train of thought. God damn it. Get me back on track, Navy. What was I saying? Where was I going?
You're just saying that it's more than just clickbait.
Thank you.
You do this on purpose, right?
Yeah, it's more than just clickbait. It says something about the person itself, because you've got Katie, and she's willing to clickbait. I recall calling her out, and the video is still public on UNIRock too, when she was covering that one celebrity guy that, you know, got in a lot of trouble for what he did to some girls, some kids, family members of his. What the fuck is the name of that famous, the Duggar guy?
Duggar,
And she had tried to make a 911 call with the Duggars, make it look like Josh had 911 called on him when it was really 911 being called on the paparazzi. And all by her thumbnails, by her titles, and by the, when you click the story, it hooked you in for enough views to count as a view and long enough to get an ad play so that she could get a bunch of views before you leave the video when you realize this is just a paparazzi's parking on someone's street and it's being presented in this big way to me. And I've called Katie out many times on that kind of thing. Now, I feel that that is the pinnacle of clickbait, trying to take something that will bring people in that they're really upset about, that deals with CA and that deals with heavy topics. And while it's not necessarily uber evil, because it's her being heartless and it's her being, you know, not caring and all that stuff and profiting off of that. When we see the level of difference between Katie and how she operates some of her nastiest clickbait for profit, and then we look at LB and Molly and Justin and the rest of them, there is a level of narcissism that does not even exist in Katie Joy. Now, I'm not saying that to minimize Katie. I have literally not minimized her. I have taken her to the limit of clickbait, to the limit of narcissism being able to be broadcasted on YouTube. And I am saying you have to multiply Katie's worst actions times 1,000 to even get close to what this group of people have been doing. Some people out there will still defend Leslie Bass because they think, well, she said in a video that she doesn't talk to Molly anymore. Is that the same as calling out Molly for what she's done? Remember how she acted when she created this big lie about me not being a veteran and vet bashed the hell out of me, right? She didn't even correct it. She didn't even bother to take the evidence that I had posted on Twitter that I reposted to the top of Twitter that debunked her and even tell her audience where she was wrong. She didn't even bother to take the video evidence that I have collectively put together on UNIRock 2 of Molly doxing, threatening, harassing, and going after people while LB supported her, while LB was defending her actively, and didn't even bother to show it on her channel or broadcast it and criticize Molly. So when you say that her saying, I don't talk to Molly anymore, equates to her not defending Molly. Oh, you're wrong for saying she's still on Molly's side, or you're wrong for saying she's with Molly. I'm not wrong. The reason she will not go at Molly and expose Molly. Did you see that? I just dropped this and then caught it before it hit the ground. That was impressive. I need to go. I'm going to go watch the replay for when I did that, because that was hella awesome. I didn't even look. When you say that she should just, I'm not talking to her anymore, or I don't feel that it's okay. What they're doing down there isn't helping. It still doesn't go as far as her literally naming who's doing it, who's behind it, who's inciting it, and criticizing those people to the same degree that she would criticize anyone else. She is still protecting them. She is still minimizing for them, and she's doing it because in the background, what these people have done in the past, Leslie too, when she has networked with people that end up getting exposed for doxing and harassment, creating fake pictures, and doing a lot of the extreme things we've seen her involved with in the past, she does make deals with those people. She will form alliances and then be unable to go out and criticize them later. There's a reason why she doesn't go as far as she should go. Going over to Molly, though, and Justin and their ability to be there and be doing this stuff, it is, like I said, a representation of how evil they are. Some people would go and do it, right? Some people would get so whipped up they wouldn't be thinking, and they would go protest, which is something we should see from Molly and Butthead Betty and Justin all the time, where they don't broadcast it. We should see so many examples of stories where we turn on the news Wow, that's a big true crime story. Let's turn on the news. And there's Buttface Betty. There's Molly Golightly. There's Justin standing there protesting. Have you ever seen that happen? No. Every time they do it, they are profiting and they are broadcasting it and they are trying to make money off of it. So again, there are many ways to be able to tell how nasty or how evil this is. And honestly, it takes a lot for me to get up here and tell you that someone's being evil or whatever, being nasty. Because I do understand the performative nature of social media and YouTube. And I understand that a lot of people get up on these platforms and they do say things that they don't mean to make money. They act certain ways to make money. And sometimes they'll put on a mean face and they'll go around threatening people and playing that game when they don't mean it at all, so they can make that cash or so they can protect that bag. So again, I don't think that's the case with any of these people. These people enjoy what they're doing. They enjoy the emotional pain that they're trying to inflict upon the grandmother or the laundries or the neighbors of the laundries or the neighbors of the grandmother. They enjoy the nasty things that they do when doxing and threatening and those other situations. It's a literal, it's like describing a human being that ends up doing a bunch of fucked up shit for their own survival, for money, for fame, for fortune, and then describing a literal demon who enjoys and revels in making someone feel pain or experiencing those negative things. And there is a difference between a human in that situation and a demon, and that difference is represented in these people. So the next thing we're about to move on to, I've just literally forgot it too, because there's so much coming in right now and there's so much going on. But don't worry, if you give me a minute, it'll come back to me. I'll find it here.
Well, and I may recommend that we also you may want to get some rocks out tonight for the all the
yes.
super chats and everything.
I will definitely remember to. Give me some time though. Let me just get through this here while my head's on straight, because I'm still getting back into my live streaming brain. So, okay, fact checking the website and it being taken down. What would make that website take down that article? Other than someone close to Dre or Marvon reaching out and letting the website know that Marvon is still alive. Like, wouldn't that be the only thing?
Yeah, that, and they got hit so hard for putting out misinformation. I mean, there could be.
Oh, no. No, these people, this website has done some really fucking clickbaity shit, and it stayed up for a while, so I won't go there. And we'd be able to see it if they were hit. If people raged out on them or anything, I think we'd be able to see it. I think we'd notice it. I'm seriously thinking, if I were Dre and I'd found out an article was written that my husband had died, I would definitely send him an email. And you can send an email straight to that website. We found their email address. Now, the reason I say Dre would have to is because, or somebody around Dre, the lawyers of Dre. In fact, I would go as far as to bet it was the lawyers of Dre. Because if it's just a random internet denizen, the website's going to take it as, they don't know. How do you know? How does a random internet denizen know? Sure, you hold the opinion that Marvon's passed or Marvon's alive, but that doesn't mean he is or isn't. They would need to hear it from someone with the authority to be able to communicate it to them, for them, because they're getting traffic on that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're making money. They're getting clicks and traffic off of that post. Are they really going to forego that just for what? Why? Why would they forego the ad revenue off of some people, hitting them with some messages, unless it was Dre?
Agreed. No, 100%.
Okay. So that's interesting. That is really interesting. It's really weird that website went down while we were streaming. It's really weird. And dude, this is one of the, I don't know if everyone was here when we went over this, but this is so important. I think I'm going to do it again. So this is a statement. Oh, I didn't even get that. I didn't even see the top. Okay, statement from Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Haley. Over the last 3 weeks, while our officers have been focused on finding Quentin Simon, a growing number of people calling themselves protesters, I love that, calling themselves protesters, have gathered outside of Quentin's home on Buckhalter Road. While the Chatham County Police Department supports everyone's rights to protest, we also support the rights of citizens to live in a peaceful environment. Is exactly my concern when they do this. The people on the road called themselves protesters. They did it again, have made that impossible. Since October 12th, which was only 3 weeks ago, when the YouTube protesters arrived, they threw YouTube in there. So they're specifically talking about YouTube protesters, outside of maybe locals that decided to go down. We have responded to 50 calls, over 50 calls for service in that block, and we have made multiple arrests. This has taken precious resources away from our department at a time when we are focused on the most massive investigation in the history of their precinct. Many of the people claiming to want justice for Quentin have turned this tragic and heartbreaking case into a money-making circus. They've made it impossible for those who live in the area to enjoy peace and tranquility from their homes. It's unacceptable and has to stop. Over the next few days, we'll be unveiling some measures to limit the disruption to the small community. Neighbors have had to endure more than their fair share of noise, vulgarity, and police presence over the last 3 weeks. We will do everything we can to once again give them a sense of normalcy. This afternoon, some of the protesters moved to the PD headquarters, and they literally give the address of the headquarters so that the other protesters will know where to go instead of going to the residential area. This is a much more appropriate place to hold such a protest. Oh, yeah, and here you go. Here's one of the people that's a problem. The person you said is responsible for the baby's death in any other jurisdiction would be locked up. No, she wouldn't. They need a body. You obviously have no idea what it takes to get an arrest or conviction in this kind of situation and shouldn't be caps locking your mouth off. Because it is true. Tell me I'm wrong, Navy. How in the world are you just going to expect the police, with no body, with the case not put together, to just ahead of... Because once they arrest her, it's not really going to matter what they pick up later. You know, the defense is going to go in and say, my client's rights were violated. They came in and arrested her with literally just off of rumors and off of hearsay and off of bullshit. And we think this case should be dismissed with prejudice. And, you know, that's the defense would be idiots not to do that, right?
Well, and one of the thing is this, is that the cops are going to have to go in front of a judge with a DA, prosecutor, and get a warrant for the arrest. Like, they just don't arrest people unless they watch a crime happen as it's happening, right? And so that's the only time the cops can just arrest you. But if something happens outside their purview, they have to get a warrant with evidence signed by a judge to come put you under arrest. Otherwise, they're violating your Fourth Amendment and all kinds of different things.
And people are going to claim, just like they're doing with the grandmother. And, you know, like I said, we'll go over that in a few days. But they're like people are doing with the grandmother, claiming that this is true or that is true. And while I do believe some of it probably is, you know, things have to be gathered and proven. And like Navy said, you have to present your evidence to a grand jury and get a warrant and then go out and arrest the person and then use that evidence to get a successful conviction. You don't really get the opportunity just to go out and arrest 6 people and say, well, this person, let's arrest the grandma. Let's arrest 2 of the protesters because they might have been involved. Let's arrest the girl who's in the rehab. Let's yank her out of rehab. And then let's take all those people in and we'll try to get one of them to go to prison. It's like, well, hold on. Only one of them, unless you've got some like evidence or something, would have done it. Right. Now, the mother did, from my limited knowledge of the case, the mother did confess. Well, I can't say she confessed because a confession is where you sit down with the cops and admit to doing it, which she didn't do. Correct.
Right. So 2 things right now. Number 1, he's still presumed alive because they don't know. And 2,
true.
the reason you're looking at the mother in the first place was because apparently there's a video that shows what looks to be her carrying something similar to his size, I guess, to the dump. And so that's one of the reasons why they're looking at the
to the dump. Whoa.
To the side.
So
that's why they're looking at the mother.
Well, they probably have a video of her going to like a trash bin that got taken to the dump, I would assume. I doubt she walked. There's a video of her going into the dump. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's still presumed alive at this point in time. So even if they wanted to go after her for a boo-boo or whatever.
So hold on.
No,
the video itself is not the video of her claiming to have done it. The video is of her walking something to... Okay. Because we all know that she may have said that she did it to someone, or that person could be lying if there's no video, or that person could be lying, or she could have said it to that person and then maybe like... we already know that she changed her story right after. So she said it to someone... Right. Then she said she didn't say it, or she said that she made an excuse for why she said it, but she said she didn't do it. And then also, I don't know if this is what gets me about Molly. And Justin and them, for people that say that they're interested in true crime or that have watched true crime, I always talk about certain forensic files or cold case files where they arrest somebody because they have such a massive amount of evidence that proves that this person did it. And even crazier, way more evidence than this person said she did it and then walked something to the trash. Oh my God, Wicked, thank you. I always bring up that story where the guy was picking up a hitchhiker and then dropped the hitchhiker off like 5 miles or some shit from his house. And he got into a tussle with the guy because the guy wanted to steal his car because he wanted dropped off like 20 miles up in a town. So he ended up getting in his truck, driving off, and leaving the dude who attacked him, the hitchhiker who tried to attack him when he tried to get him out of his car and say, hey, this is as far as I can take you. So the dude drove his truck around for a good like hour or something because he didn't want this hitchhiker to see him pulling into his house, know where he was, and then come there to attack him, kill him, steal his vehicle. So he drove around for an hour, went home, and he walked in and found his mother dead. And the police arrested him. I don't know how long he was in prison for, but they had a fingerprint at the crime scene covered in blood because the dude was at the crime scene and found his mother. They had, people that had seen his truck, and all this. They had all this evidence that proved that this guy killed his mom. He would have went to prison for the rest of his life. Everybody thought he was guilty until they found, I think it was, maybe it was DNA evidence that exonerated him. Oh, no. I think what it was is that the guy ended up killing someone else. And then they took something that they ended up being able to prove that this hitchhiker had killed this guy's mother, and they let him out of prison. So my point is, if you're on social media right now, and instead of it being this case, you were looking at this other case, Molly and all of them would be outside of this guy's home and in his neighborhood talking about how much of a murderer he is. The police need to go arrest him. They need to lock him up. They need to get him. They would get him thrown in jail. He would go to prison just to find out the dude was innocent later. And those types of stories, I can name so many of them. You really should watch Forensic Files. It's free on YouTube. What I needed to do, I need to go find those episodes that have those stories in those Forensic Files and then share them with you guys on my community tab or something. Because I can think of that one, and I can think of the two parents that they thought were Satanists whose daughter had died, and they thought that the mother and father had sacrificed her to Satan, but in reality a dog had bit her and it killed her. Anyway, my whole point isn't that this is going on in this story. In fact, I even will go as far as to say that I think that the girl did it. I just don't know how much I believe about the culpability of the grandparent. Maybe I'll believe that she's the most evil person ever after I look into the story. But barring her, again, killing or being involved in killing the baby, they shouldn't be treating the grandmother like this. So, regardless, I don't give a shit what the grandmother did. And that's why we have the hardest... The last thing I'll say is we have the hardest job in combating the emotions, the drive, and the necessity for us to jump on bandwagons or to rush to a judgment or to allow ourselves to act in a way that will inspire others to act in that way when it comes to stories that involve the most innocent people, an infant, having their life taken by someone else. Because we've learned throughout history, and really society couldn't really do much to evolve and to grow to where we are now without us putting a heavy level of importance on many things like that are embodied by the same ideologies as free speech and also innocent until proven guilty and a fair trial and all these things that help ensure that justice happens in the greatest probability, the greatest percentage of scenarios. And it's not because it's the easy thing, you know. In fact, there are many cases that can't be tried that should be, where they know who did something and they still can't lock them up due to the amount of rights that we all have and protections that we have. And when you do these things, when you allow yourself to, and I'm not talking about protesting. In fact, I support all of you that want to go down to that police station who have an issue with something tangible the police have done in this case and that want to protest there and be direct and be make it like spell out what it is that you're protesting, what change you want, what you want to affect. I support any of you doing that respectably at the police station with a bullhorn or whatever you're legally allowed to do, if you are allowed to use a bullhorn. I don't know if you are or not. And to get that change and to go out and try that. People that allow themselves, though, to profit, they're in a different category. So before we go, I can't help myself. I have to skip through the protesting. Actually, no, I don't. I want to go look at the clips we have from like Kool-Aid and other people about this, because let's type in, let me just see what I can pull up. What's his last name? It's Quentin what?
Simons. Yeah,
okay.
The one you're looking at.
Let's see what we can pull up when it comes to the protests. We'll just go to like this week. It'll help narrow down some of this. And like, this is why I hate the YouTube algorithm. The majority of everything that comes up at the top is news, and we should be able to see what the most popular thing. Billy Joe and Leon Lee face to face with protesters, leads Billy Joe to mental breakdown. Where's Danny? Okay, maybe I need to watch this one. Maybe this is something I should look at the transcript for, because somebody made the claim that she's against the protests. So I want to find out where she said this. Grandmother of Quentin Simon arrested for bringing contraband into jail. Quentin Simon, just a reminder. Well, then why are they protesting outside of her effing house? Oh, that's, you can't trust anything this guy says. Is he involved? This Jonathan Lee Riches? Riches. There it is. That's the dude's name I was looking for. Riches. He's doing this again? He's there again? Oh my God. Angry Little Gnome says it's about everything but the baby. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Oh, let me go to some of the clip channels, because we're not going to find anything with the YouTube search. It's been literally just destroyed over the years. And let's go down to like this week. Hell does that mean? Mockery my fanny? Streamed 22 hours ago? Mockery my fanny. I don't think anybody wants anything to do with your fanny, Molly. For Billy, Joel, and company.
Okay. Just gonna clear up some stuff before we get on with our day today. Hopefully.
She is driving while live streaming too. And I don't care if you drive while live streaming if you put the phone down, but they all hold it up. It's just as bad as like texting or talking while you're driving.
Without any people around me except for Justin that's driving. Like,
why isn't he holding this phone then?
Maniac. Over here.
Oh, he's driving? It looks like you're driving, Molly.
We can explain a little more, because it seems like a lot of people,
I don't know, dude. It still looks like you're driving.
Are confused with these videos and why we're out there. What the?
See, I knew it. She literally has gotten such a pushback for why she's out here doing this that she is literally 22 hours ago done a video making excuses for why they're out there doing this. She's having seizures. She shouldn't be driving at all. Well, then Justin probably is driving. It literally does look like she's driving if you go watch the video. I don't want to put the video up. I don't want to give her that much attention. You know, we're pretty popular around here. We don't want to give her too much attention.
The intentions are, and I'm actually
voice is getting shaky. A lot of us. You see, you got Justin syndrome going on when he was trying to tell us that it was Dre's camp that released the information about MARVON passing. It was Dre's camp that released that information. Justice for MARVON, you know, justice. You doing all these ticks. You got the same ticks. You've been spending too much time with Justin, or he's been spending too much time with you, boo boo, because you guys lie the exact same nowadays.
I don't know if this is
stuttering
out of spite, or if just people are like, if people are pretending to be dumb, or if I have to.
No, so now she's going to the insults. You're dumb if you have a problem with what they're doing in the neighborhood. Now, this tells me not that she's addressing it. That tells me enough. It tells me a lot. The fact that she would go as far as to address the amount of pushback they've been getting over the protesting and the way they've been acting. That them addressing it alone is pretty massive. Most of the time, they'll have a no response policy because it's the best thing for their pocketbook. But for them to address it tells us a lot. For her to throw in the insults and try to frame people that believe that they are horrible money-making, just, you know, profiteering off of this infant's disappearance, this infant's obvious death, profiting off of it like they do with every case they cover, her, Boo Boo Betty and Justin and all the rest of them. You know, that's, for them to go that far is very telling.
In layman's terms, explain this, why we're outside of this woman's house.
Well, yes, please. Thank you. Because from your protesting, we can't tell. Most protesters will have a literal reason that they're chanting, things that they are claiming that they want or things they want changed. And all you guys do is attempt to punish the grandmother due to her crimes in this situation. And again, you guys got too invested because you wanted the mother. You didn't want the grandmother. But because the mother is locked into a medical facility, you can't get to her. So you can't make your money off that. You got a lot of money and a lot of time invested in going down to do this. So you had to settle with the grandmother. Now, the problem is you expected everybody just to put the murder of the baby on the grandmother. And really, we're all not dumb. So we're putting on the grandmother what she deserves to have put on her. And anything short of conspiracy to murder, really, I don't know how you're going to justify yourself on that lawn. Because even if you have the murderer, you being in a residential area is just punishing all the neighbors, and throwing out your punishment to all these other people just doesn't stack. Check out the channel General Awareness. Stumbled upon him last night. It was funny. Will do.
Number one. This is why we stand outside Billy Joel's house, okay?
Well, yeah, okay, good, because it's taking you a while to get here, so give it to me.
We go outside so that...
What?
Every car, whether there's a person in there or not.
Every car?
Whether there's someone, the mother of the line, it doesn't matter.
Awareness to his name.
Yeah. And,
okay, this sentence makes no sense. I'm going to try to read this sentence back when you're done, but this sentence makes no sense.
We say, hey, do you know who lives here?
That's not what you've been saying. Nope. So you're a doxer. You're a stalker and a harasser. This is what you're admitting to? Because you were, for a month and a half, have been saying that you're not that, while I've been presenting evidence on my main channel that you are that. So, like, wow, great admission. I'm going to really need this for some upcoming videos.
A lot of people know. A lot of people don't know. And they are curious to know what is going on there.
What are you talking about? What? Okay, number one, she doesn't live there. She's in a long-term treatment facility. I looked this up before I started the stream, and unless she's like dipped out, which I don't think she will if she did kill the baby, I think, because I don't know if they're going to arrest her from a rehab. They'll probably let her chill there and then arrest her. So she's going to be chilling in that rehab, talking to people, watching TV, eating some food. You know, she might even get to try to stay there longer if she really did do this, because she's not going to go to prison. Okay. Now, the other side of this, though, is that they may yank her from the facility, even if she's in treatment, just so you know. But you can't affect her there. You're literally, you should have thought about this before you did this. Now, anyone that was protesting would have thought about this. They wouldn't want to inflict a murder protest, because that's what you're doing. You're saying, Billy Joe, or whatever the girl's name, the murderer girl needs to be locked up. She's bad. She sucks, right? And so you're inflicting that upon the grandmother. And regardless if the grandmother's a shit person or did a couple fucked up things, I don't think people are going to make it into where you need them to be. And again, you don't have a genuine reason to be protesting. You don't care whether the daughter even did it. You don't even give a shit whether there's enough evidence to arrest her. You're just trying to whip people. In order to get those donos, you either have to do content, you got to put on a good show, you got to do something that's content worthy, or you're going to have to whip people up into a frenzy and get them with those pitchforks. So you've been, of course, with no content, you and Justin don't have it. You're going to opt for the outrage.
Oh, you want to know what's going on there? A total disrespect.
Yes, you are disrespecting everybody on that street. Buttface Betty, Justin, all of them. Disrespecting everybody on that street. You say that people doing these kinds of things to innocent people is wrong. You guys are the bad guys doing all of this to those innocent people. The cops in that area have had to call you out. They've called you out for profiteering. They've called you out for inappropriately protesting. Many things I won't go into because I'll be repeating myself. But yeah, you guys are the bad guys. Thanks for admitting it.
To the baby.
I've heard they put dead fish.
To the baby. You notice how she says the word baby here? It's almost like it's painful for her to even go there. And I'm not going to show you her visual body language because it tells a lot, but you can watch it if you want. This is on her channel 11 hours ago or something.
To the baby.
The baby. So the people on the street, the neighbors, are being disrespectful to the baby. They're being disrespectful to the baby. Really? Because I would think they're just as angry as you are being non-murdering people on the block. I don't know. Are you saying everybody on that block is a murderer? Everybody on that block is fine with this baby going through this? What are you trying to claim, Molly? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I've heard they put dead fish out in the yard now.
Yes, they put sardines outside now where the protesters stand.
Well, that's because that's what they've been smelling the whole time you guys have been there. Like, the minute the protesters showed up, they kept smelling all this weird fishy smell. And they were like, screw it. We're going to take all of our old fish. Since all of you old fish are chilling on the street corner, we're going to start throwing all of our old fish on the street corner so that at least, you know, the smells will match up. Because obviously you guys need to take a shower or something because this fishy smell is overwhelming. That's what the neighbors weren't trying to be mean. They were just trying to match the smell of the protesters to the smell of their garbage. I mean,
and last night took in the memorial after we left because, quote,
last night Justin ordered alcohol for delivery and the cops showed up. Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh,
that's classic.
Funny. I like that.
Justin's like, I'm gonna get my party on. I got my fishy smell going, and now all I need is my alcohol. And the cop shows up like, I don't think so, Justin.
Unquote.
Did he put that in his pipe and smoke it?
Yeah, did Justin put... no, that's what the alcohol was for. He was going to put it in his pipe and smoke it. They were just being nice. See, Molly, you're making a horrible argument here because these neighbors are just trying to provide Justin's pipe with some fish to smoke. Everybody knows that he loves smoking that kind of stuff. So they're just trying to put that in his pipe so he can smoke it.
Disrespected by the protesters. That is a flat out lie.
No, it's not. The police have come out to say you've been disrespecting the family. We've got video evidence that you are disrespecting. Did I say the family? I meant every family. Sorry. We've got the video evidence of how you've been acting, and I appreciate your lies. because they're really going to help with the videos that are going to come out so that we've been making this argument about you since the Gabby Petito story. When we learned that you do this stuff, we've been making this argument about all these other fake true crime YouTubers who pretend to be covering these kind of stories, but instead of actually doing anything logical to the coverage of the story or to get an outcome or some benefit, or like with protesting, instead, everything you do does nothing but line your pockets with donos for justice. Now, we've been trying to go back to your old stories and figure out where the justice is that you guys got or assisted, and we found that you've actually complicated the justice in every single story, and now you want us to believe that the police, in another story, brand new police group, brand new precinct, brand new, like, you're going to tell us that they're all colluding with the police in every other city that you've protested to lie on you, is what you're going to say, because you realize all the other cities you've been to, the police all say the same thing. That you guys are the bad guys. You're profiting, that you are creating a spectacle so that you can profit off it on YouTube. You do realize with the police putting that out, it's not going to be long before YouTube changes some policies. This is what we've been trying to prevent by covering you guys doing this. When YouTube changes a policy, it's the worst possible thing when they strengthen a policy, and they have to strengthen a policy in order to get results. And what you're going to do is end up making it to where people can't do basic reporting. People can't protest properly on YouTube without getting strikes or getting their channels deleted, because YouTube systems have to be automated, and you're drawing a line. You're trying to skirt a line so that you can make money off of your fake protest. But what you're going to do is make it to where people that are actually doing good content like you're trying to do can't do it in the end. And that's why we've tried to cover this before YouTube has to step in. Unfortunately, when you get to the point that the police themselves have enough evidence of what Molly and Justin and Boo Boo Betty and the rest of them are doing to where they can put out a social media statement by that police department that these people are profiting off of their bad behavior, not protesting, that's more than enough evidence for YouTube to step in. So you've already messed that whole thing up.
Flat out lie. No.
This Navy, is this the 6th or the 8th or the 12th precinct that's lied on these people? Because it's definitely, I mean, this is like, I can't even believe they're going there. I can't believe they're trying to say that this, that the cops are lying on them. Literally, they've said that about every other precinct that's had an issue with what they do. Literally, the last place they did this to passed laws to keep them out, to keep them away. And that wasn't enough. And now that it's happening again, by the way, Molly, guess what? The cops are fast tracking legal changes that should be ready in the next couple days to get you guys out. Did you know that? What are you going to say when that goes through, Molly? Are you still going to say you're being lied on? So it won't just be the cops lying on you. It's going to be the city council, or it's going to be, the voters. They're all going to be lying on you, right? Like, it's just everyone in that town is lying on you because they want to protect this woman who did this to a BB. By the way, Navy, isn't she claiming by saying that they're lying on them for what she is claiming to be protesting for? Isn't that her saying that the cops are protecting the baby killer? Because, I mean, she has to be saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because they're there for justice, so the cops aren't, because they disagree with them.
Exactly. So the only other outcome is that why would the cops not want you to be down there? Why would they not want you if you're doing this all legally, properly, if you're being honest? They should want you there, right? They should agree with you. And in order for you to say they're lying on you, you have to be saying they're protecting the baby murderer. I'm sorry, it's just true.
The whole time that I was there, the only time I saw
man, her voice is getting shaky as she goes on.
A protester that
shaky.
I don't even know these women.
She's setting it up, Navy, for her to be the good protester. She don't even know the bad ones. The ones that were doing all that bad stuff, she don't know. We have the video, Molly. We have the video. Justin. Sorry, go ahead. What is it?
I was just saying, like, the ones that got arrested, like Dolly and one of the others that got arrested protesting down there. That she doesn't know.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't know the people that got her, the bad protesters, right? The problem is, Molly, you are the loudest. You're the one out there. Every time I click a video, I can hear your voice screaming.
All I know.
Dude, I love the fact that they threw sardines at these people. So they they can't even lie and say that they didn't smell like rotten fish the whole time they were there. Molly is admitting that all these protesters had exuding from them a rotten fish smell. I mean, she's literally admitting that. Holy shit. Holy shit. You realize that's what she tried to say about Dre a few months ago? Yeah. Wow, that's karma. That's karma.
So down in the scamming room, we have a new screenshot from LB's live with someone asking a very pertinent question to what LB wrote as her statement. And then we have 2 screenshots of what I got sent was Molly and Justin's justification for why they were saying what they were saying. So.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. 12 minutes ago, under the video from today, LB says Marvin McRae's stepmother has okay, so here we go. Marvin McRae's stepmother confirmed his passing. His stepmother. Who would the stepmother be? That'd be Wynette. So she is admitting she's using Molly's info. I thought she didn't talk to Molly, Navy. I thought she didn't work with Molly no more.
Right. Well, they're also saying had, right? So she had done it previously, which means it's not confirmed now. That's why the person's asking that question. Had or has? Is it present tense or had in the past?
I can't believe this is just literally 12 minutes before this screenshot. And this screenshot just came in. This is right now. You don't know, LB? You don't know that article you used to be able to say this has been deleted? And that place is a clickbait, straight up, messed up website. They typically don't delete their clickbait. So for them to delete it, that's some heavy shit. What Molly and Justin are saying is their proof sent in by a viewer. Oh. So someone sent them a link. My mom something. I'll call you right back. I just spoke with MARVON Jr., nurse in Tucson. She said she's so sorry to hear about MARVON Jr. This doesn't mean he fucking died. How does the nurse not just conveying that she's sorry he's in a coma or he's sorry that he experienced this? This isn't a claim to him passing. Right?
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't read that way. Number one, with the whole fact that nurses wouldn't do that, they wouldn't reveal that information, right? And I'm not saying some haven't, but most, 90% of 99% of them won't. But just calling to be giving some sympathy because he's in a bad situation. Yeah, I can definitely see that's what this said.
Wait, so Molly sent a link to Wynette and said, "My mom homecoming, Wynette. Good night." Then tap to something. I'll call you right back. And then I just spoke with MARVON Jr.'s nurse in Tucson. She said she's sorry to hear about MARVON Jr. What the fuck? This is not... being sorry to hear about what happened literally can mean anything. If I break a finger on my left hand and someone could say, "I'm so sorry to hear about what happened." Yeah, I know, it hurts. What is this? This is their evidence? Lord. Not at all. And any nurse who would do that is in direct HIPAA VIO. The facility they work for, and they can both be held accountable. Army wife. Yeah, to some extent, right? So if it's a family friend, the only way I could see, and I believe everything you're saying, absolutely. I agree with you. The only way I could see it not being that is if this nurse is like an old family friend or like an old high school buddy, and the nurse ends up seeing that MARVON's in there and he's injured, and then goes home and gets on the phone and says, "Hey, I know I haven't talked to you in a long time, but I'm so sorry to hear about what happened," or something like that. Now, again, yes, you're probably right. It probably could still be a violation of some kind or something. Though, all I'm trying to say is, This right here, though, is not any evidence or proof or inclination that MARVON has passed away. So what do? This is the thing they don't understand. This is the thing Molly doesn't get. You write them back and say, wait a minute, are you saying that he passed away, or is she just concerned with what happened? And then she writes you back and says, oh, no, I'm not saying he passed away, or yes, I'm so sorry he did. There is no reason that you can't ask her to clarify. There's none. Why can't you, before going on live stream, before blasting this around, ask them to clarify? Because you're trying to bait in viewers. You're taking something and lying about it so that you can bait in viewers. Now, again, that doesn't matter if MARVON has passed away, and it doesn't matter if MARVON is alive. Molly, my point is that Molly, off of what she got, doesn't know either way. Let's say that MARVON passes tomorrow, yesterday, today, 2 days from now, and she was sent this as proof. Why are you going to take this and just run with the fact that it means he's gone when he suffered a tragic injury? So you could be sorry for the tragic injury, and you just found out about it, right? You follow me? So you do have to ask yourself, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I was trying to keep streaming, but we're going to go ahead and go there, my last little phase of the stream. Why would they do this? Why would Molly do this? Why would LB do this? Why is LB still playing this game? By the way, this is effing proof that LB is still talking to Molly. This is the proof. Molly and LB are lying to all of you. They are still besties. They still defend each other. They still make excuses for each other. And LB still refuses to criticize Molly to any degree, but when she gets mad at me for criticizing her for partaking in a fraud raiser, she tries to lie and say that I'm not a veteran, using bullshit to do it. That is your proof that if she was really doing what she says she's doing, she would treat me and Molly and anyone else out there equally. She wouldn't have this special treatment for Molly, other than unless she's still, Team Molly, she's still friends with her. Some people just, if it was Katie and we were asking the question of whether Katie was still allied with one of her best friends and that person was outwardly defending Katie nonstop, they would all be saying that Katie and them are still talking, they're still defending each other, they're still in line with each other. You literally don't just go out and your words change when you've changed something like this. The logic does, your behavior does, your criticism does, the way you react does. So if she wants to sit there and go live for the next 10 years, me and Molly don't talk. How do you know she's not ending the stream, calling Molly and saying, hey, sorry, I'm just protecting my ass. I'm going to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, we know that they have done this in the past, so I'm sorry. But based on their past behavior and based on the way they're acting, yeah, it's just over. Though, why are they doing this is the question, so that we can end this. Oh, very true, Angry Little Gnome. Very true. Why would someone take either this claim from Wynette and turn it into MARVON passing away? Why would that then turn into, wait a minute, I thought that they said it and then had to contact Wynette. So this couldn't have been the initial thing, could it? You know what I'm saying? The initial thing was Molly had heard it from someone Team Dre and then reached out to Wynette to confirm it. This makes no sense. And look, Molly's doing her little performative thing back here. Look, guys, I'm not lying to you. See? It's why she's showing her phone in the damn first place. You know what I'm saying?
Someone's saying, look at the date.
Look at the date? I can barely see it.
I know, right?
October 12th. Wednesday. Okay. Wait, what now? Hold on, I got a better picture here. There we go. Wednesday, October 12th. And then this says Wednesday. Okay, I know it's... So Wednesday, she said, I'll call you right back. Wednesday, October 12th, she said, I'll call you right back. And then Wednesday of this week, she said this. You see what I'm saying? if it would have been, okay, so when it's the closest, okay, so when you're on these types of phones, if someone messages you 4 days ago, it's just going to say the date. But if it turns into like a week ago, they're going to put the date like this and the day. You see what I'm saying? So without there being a date next to this, it makes me think that this is the recent Wednesday. You see what I'm saying?
It looks like it's the same day though. Like if you get 2 texts in the same day, it'll say the 12th, and then because this one's at the top one's at 11:54 p.m. and then the bottom one's at almost 9 p.m.
Oh,
so if it was the same day.
Oh, I wasn't saying no to you. No. But see, if it was the same day, like if it was October 12th, it would have just not said Wednesday here. It would have just ran it together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to defend Molly, but, you know, I at least got to be able to say it how it is. This came in Wednesday, which would have been 2 days ago. The day before yesterday. It was right now it's Friday. Oh, no, because today's Thursday, because it's after midnight. So this would have been yesterday. Okay, this would have been the day before. Yeah. Then she didn't call again for weeks. Oh, exactly. So she didn't talk to her for weeks, and then she messages and says, I just spoke with Marvon Jr. nurse in Tucson. She said she's so sorry to hear about Marvon Jr. And here's the point I want to make, just so everybody's following me. When you say you're sorry to hear about something, it's because a tragedy has happened up to or including death. Okay? Being sorry for something, you can still be sorry when someone is in a coma, and you can still be sorry when they pass away. This does not convey that Marvon has passed away. But if you wanted to take this and make it look like it, if you wanted to start the rumor that Marvon had passed away to get attention and clicks and all this, you could easily take this message and turn it into that. Now, there is no coincidence that this exists on Molly's phone and LB is trying to say that close family confirmed that he passed away. Also, there's no coincidence that website said that close family confirmed it too. That website got the information from watching Molly's bullshit, in my opinion. So, you know, all I want to say is this is not proof that Wynette is making the claim that Marvon passed away. Also, don't you think that she would have, if Marvon had passed away, wouldn't she message Molly and say, oh my God, Marvon just passed away. Oh, I can't believe it. Marvon's gone. Why would she frame Marvon passing away? In fact, the fact that she's saying, I just spoke with the nurse and she said she's sorry to hear about Marvon. Doesn't that say that it's not Marvon passing away? Because why would you frame it as in, hey, I talked to the nurse and she's sorry to hear it? It's confusing. It's not direct. Right? If you're upset, you're not going to want to combine these events together. You're not even going to be, if you're experiencing the tragedy of finding out that he just passed and you're upset about it and you're overwhelmed, you're only going to be conveying the thing that's in your head. And the only thing that's going to be in your head is you don't give two shits that you spoke with the nurse in Tucson and she said this. You're going to care about what actually happened, and you're going to convey what actually happened to the people that you want to let know. You're not going to want it to be confusing. You're not going to want to let it be many things. Now, what does Molly do this for? When does Molly go in, try to show her phone, try to show people that, look, here's what I got. See, she does this when she thinks she can convince everybody that she's being honest when she's being dishonest. She doesn't do these theatrics unless she's being dishonest or being accused of being dishonest. And then to validate herself, she's going to show this to you. I just think Molly thought that people would take this way different. I'm sorry. I don't believe that this paragraph, this sentence equates to, I'm informing you that he's passed away. To me, this equates to a person is sorry for the tragedy that happened to Marvon. That's what it equates to me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, wouldn't they be more direct? Wouldn't you want to be direct? Wouldn't you want to not have to type it again? Just typing it should hurt you. You know, just saying it's like an ordeal when these things happen. The last thing you're going to have to do is, she's a liar. Everything out of her lockjaw mouth is a lie. I agree, Jersey Girl. I agree. I do. Because look, these are the kind of things that Molly is known for. She, like this video we're watching. This is her for Billy Joel and Co. Hold on a minute. That's not what that just said, was it? I thought I clicked on the one that said something about her fanny or something. I don't know. But the point is, she's trying to make excuses for why she's down there at the protest. There are several issues here, Molly. I don't think anyone gives a shit that you're protesting. They care that you're protesting a residential neighborhood for clicks and views. The entire neighborhood does not want you there. So they're not supporting you. They're putting fish. You just said it. You just admitted it. They're taking dead fish and going out and putting it where you're standing so that when you guys get there to start your shit, you're smelling dead fish the whole time. They're trolling you. They hate you. They don't want you there, right? And on top of that, no one can figure out how the grandmother deserves a protest at all. She doesn't deserve a protest at all. And for just the things that my live chats have told me about, she deserves to be investigated and then charged if she did this stuff, if she committed a crime, by the way. Though at the same instance here, none of the excuses that have come out of her mouth even equate to addressing the issues. She's minimizing, she's dodging, she's avoiding, she's trying to say that the neighbors are the bad guys. Now, another thing she's doing is punishing the neighbors. As we all know, she loves getting her audience to go out and try to dox and harass and threaten people. And if you think that there's any question to that happening, UNIRock 2 last video literally has Molly caught in the act doing all of this on video. You can go watch it for yourself. And in my opinion, I would go as far as to say, no, not my opinion, based on her past behavior, she is inciting her shit crew to go out and start to fuck with the neighbors, because you don't go out and put rotten fish under Molly GOLIGHTLY without us coming at you. By the way, her shit force does do that. They're going to be wanting to find out who did the fish. I think that's one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard, bro.
Apparently it's fish and manure.
And manure? So they're making a double statement. You know, that's a statement. They really tried to, they wanted to articulate what it was they were smelling in their neighborhood and amplify it a little bit and let them know, like, hey, this is what you guys are. A bunch of dead, fishy smelling, manure smelling, bad, nasty people. And I mean, it's why would you admit this? There's only one reason, and that's to rage your audience against these people. But honestly, anyone that's still on Molly's side, they need to go get a they need a therapy session or 6. If you're still supporting Molly after everything she's been doing, you have issues. You really do. And I feel sorry for you. Honestly, I don't know why people are so drawn to be on the side of the Jerry Springer guest, the worst one, you know, and cheer on him and be their biggest fan. But sometimes
I know
it happens.
There's a lot of locals. There's a lot of people from YouTube that I don't even know who.
Yeah, you know, okay, so I can go ahead and break down what she's done here. First, she tries to say, I'm not one of the bad ones, I'm one of the good ones. I don't even know the bad people that are there protesting. And by the way, she's the loudest. She's the one cursing the most vulgarities, the most obscenities. She's one of the main reasons why the elderly and the children in the area have had to go stay with family so they can be away from these guys. And she's probably one of the main reasons why they're putting dead fish and manure down there. Then she goes in to how she's going to tell you why they're protesting, but instead starts to attack the neighbors. Now she's going to, again, disconnect herself from the bad protesters when she's the worst of them.
Who they are. I have no idea. I know that there are people filming me intentionally. People are actually going out there just to film me.
Yeah, probably for court cases, for evidence, to maybe sue you later. Yeah, they probably are, Molly.
Yes.
I maybe it's a documentary crew. Maybe you're going to get lucky. You're going to be the next one that Katie Joy documents on Netflix. Because I just found out she really is doing that Netflix documentary, Navy. That wasn't bullshit. She really is doing it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's right. It's the creepy.
Her and Betty, yeah. Betty is a maniac. She's just out of her mind. Like, they are willing to go to criminal levels, as we've shown you on UNIRock 2, in doxing and threatening and harassing people. They're really messed up people, y'all.
Shit but whatever. I don't know who you are. I don't care who you are.
Who's she talking about? I don't know who the good protesters are. I'm the loudest. I'm the stinkiest. I'm the worst. I don't want you grouping me up with those nice protesters.
I'm there to do one thing.
Oh no, she's yelling at the people that are filming her. Holy shit, she has no idea what she's admitting. She's admitting that the neighborhood is putting dead fish and manure where she stands, and she's admitting that people in the neighborhood are taking cameras, going over to when she's doing this bullshit and filming her. And I don't think they're doing it for any good reason, Molly. I think she's getting a pushback. So here's the question. Very true, Lauren. She's there to clout chase. Do you think that Molly would be getting as much of a pushback if our communities wouldn't have started criticizing her? And I mean all the communities, everyone that's doing it, criticizing her over the last, we'll say, 2 months. Because I don't think she would be getting a pushback.
No, probably not. It's not nearly to what it is. No.
I wonder how many people on that street have found our content and have watched it. Oh, Army Wife. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Especially after the Brian Laundry stuff. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Kelly says she sent you Red Bull monies.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. That's awesome. And I promise I'm going to give you guys rocks as soon as we're almost done. I swear. And then Army Wife is saying that there's going to be a law in this county or in this city because of this. Yes, the police announced it on Twitter, and the police called out Molly and Buttface Betty and all the rest of them. Thank you, by the way. All of them for being profiteers by going down there and doing all the bad things they're doing. Called them straight out. Literally specified the YouTubers who went down there and said that they are doing it for money, they're doing it for profit, and that they are making laws and taking prevention measures to stop them from doing this in the future. Yeah. Yes, Buttface Betty. Yes. I don't even know what her channel name is. I'm just going off of what everybody told me your channel name was. So Buttface Betty.
Like, you're protesting because Leilani's not there, so why does it matter? Well,
yes, you're protesting the grandmother. So I don't think you've actually stopped and asked yourself, what is the worst crime that you have that the grandmother has committed with evidence? Okay. Now, I know people are saying that the grandmother did some fucked up stuff, and that's different than saying that she's committed a crime that needs to be protested against. Because you're protesting because you're saying cops aren't arresting, and they should be arresting. So you can't be protesting the daughter that actually had been filmed putting something in a trash can and had allegedly told somebody that she did kill the baby. You're protesting the grandmother, and the worst thing you got on her is that she allowed the daughter to keep the baby overnight so that she could go party or something like that. That's not protest material. That's barely even make a YouTube video calling her out material. The things you're doing on the street are far worse than what this lady has done material.
Well, we're trying to let everyone,
or at least equal,
know that Quentin's life does matter.
No, you're not. You're not. Now, see, here's the problem, Justin. You got to be careful when you're making your excuses, because if there are easier ways for you to do that, then everyone's going to know you're lying. You want to tell me that you traveling down there, putting your Cash App and PayPal up across the screen, why didn't you not monetize yourself? Why didn't you not go live and record it and upload it later? Because you're making money off of what you're doing, the act of it. And if you wanted to let people know that you cared about this baby's life, you could do it far easier ways and far more effective ways than what you're doing. In fact, it makes no sense that you're doing what you're doing, and it gives any respect to that baby whatsoever. Because if any child or if any person out there is looking at what you're doing and saying, I'm going to do that when I get older, someone needs to educate them, stop them, teach them manners, teach them respect, and teach them to take a shower so they don't smell like the fishies. Because we all know that the neighbors wouldn't be putting them fishies out there if y'all didn't smell like the fishies.
And that he was given such disrespect. Nobody.
Disrespect? You're not thinking, Justin. Disrespect? Now we have to consider disrespect and the levels of disrespect committed by each person involved. You should have used a different word, bro, because you and Molly are some of the most disrespectful people in this entire damn story. You're disrespecting every neighbor. You're disrespecting every person out there who's looking at this. You're disrespecting the police because you're not doing this in any type of adult or respectful way. Thank you, Debbie. No, I'm your #1 fan. Thank you. I appreciate it.
In life, he was disrespected. And now even in death.
He was born.
This isn't an allegedly. There's no allegedly here. So you factually know that there were crimes committed against this baby, which is possible. Like I said, I haven't looked into this story. I'm covering these weirdos. We'll get into the story later. Thank you, Amy.
The kid wasn't even here. I mean, literally, he wasn't even on this earth 700 days.
You know, so what you're saying is that when drug addicts go out and end up getting pregnant due to having unprotected sex, and when they have a baby and the baby's born addicted, how have you made any statements about that or any logic about that whatsoever? Have you made, while you're protesting, is that what you're speaking on? Are you trying to speak at people getting, like, what is the protest? Are you protesting that people should use protection? Are you protesting that people should get rehab? Are you protesting that people shouldn't be using drugs? Because I will say that the majority of that block is probably getting high every night just to drown out your insufferable voices, and most likely putting cotton balls in their nose due to the fishy smell. And no, that is not me insulting them. The neighbors literally said that they smelled so much like fish that they all went to the store, bought some sardines, and started to put them around where they stand.
You want to know something? And so
we need to come up with a nickname for Justin and Molly that expresses the fishy smell that the neighbors are claiming that they have. Should it be Molly Go Fishy? I like it. Molly Go Fishy. How about Sardines for All when we refer to Justin? Okay.
Finds out that that everything in this true crime community.
You aren't in a true crime community. True crime community is where they break down the facts around the worst crimes. They talk about how it happened, the psychology behind it, the process, what happened, how it put a person there, the things that lead a person throughout their life to get into a state where they can commit these kind of crimes, the mental illnesses and diseases that make it to where a person can do this, and how you can prevent it, the things you can do in a community to heal from it, the things you can do to help other people that are affected by crimes. You are not true crime YouTubers. You are drama YouTubers. The problem is you are worse than Jerry Springer drama. If I had to classify or quantify the kind of drama that you guys are, I can't come up with a reality TV show that it even relates to you in any way, shape, or form. Do not put down all the good true crime YouTubers out there, all the good reporters, thank you, Stitchin, and all the other people out there that make it their entire life to take courses and understand the psychology of criminality, to go in and actually look at the prevention methods, the people that dedicate their life. You're literally doing this to the cops, to the police. You're making their entire process of finding this baby, of getting justice in this situation, harder through your actions. This is a fact, and it's been admitted by the precinct. You are the problem. That's what we've been saying for months. Other YouTubers have been covering it for years. You are the problem. There is nothing that is even close to a solution about any of you. You are the fake true crime community. You exist to make money by clickbaiting true crime and providing the worst kind of drama.
Has now caved in that there's hate bonding and that there's listen, I don't do fake.
Yes, you do. You're the fakest YouTuber on the platform. You literally are lying to our faces right now. We're so used to you lying. We're so used to the people around you lying that it's just, how do you even say this with a straight face, for fuck's sake? Well, never mind. Your face is crooked, so that's why.
I don't do hate bonding, and I definitely...
You dox! You dox! What do you mean? You don't do hate bonding. Well, I've got an entire video sitting right here. And that's what I'm going to end with. Guys, the last few days, thank you, Navy. Appreciate you being here, man. We'll be on throughout the weekend and the weekend. It'll be much better than tonight's stream. I had a lot to get out of me over the last few days, so thanks for being here, bro.
And as we're going out, maybe you can throw some rocks out the.
I will. Yep, I'll pay him on the way out, man. All right, I'll see you down there. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and roll out with my last video, which is the introduction. I've been working on this really hard since you guys have seen me last. I know because I've been busy. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but I've still been working on this really hard. I think you're gonna really like part 1. Here's some of the introduction, and I think that it will say everything I need to say on the way out of here. And yes, I'm going to be paying you rocks on the way out. So as you see the stream ending, from now, if you type or emoji in the chat, you will get your rocks, and you can use them when we come in on the next stream that should be tomorrow night. Of course, barring anything that might prevent it. Either way, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Do not contact, harass, or bother any of the people I've mentioned in this video. You do not want to be like them. I'll see you tomorrow.
And now I'm coming for him. You want to f with my business? I'm coming for you. I'm not coming for her. I'm not coming for anyone else. I am coming straight for you. And you know who you are. And I'm doing it very strategically.
Oh, really? That sucks.
This is Molly GOLIGHTLY. She's a YouTuber who covers true crime, as all of you know. She needs no introduction. Maybe she will, though. There are 2 issues with Molly. One is the Letitia fundraiser being discovered as a fraud raiser, but mostly, though, the doxing from Molly GOLIGHTLY. I'll go ahead and drop some examples just to make sure that the people in the comments are caught up.
Well, guess what? You will get your refunds. And from how, right? I got your fucking address. And guess what? All you mother, no normal person asked for a refund from a grieving party. Disgusting. This was a charitable donation stated. And you want to know something? PayPal is going to side with that person.
This is not just an example of doxing. This is an example of how Molly, Justin, LB, and the others that helped do this attempted to shame donators that asked for a refund. This is very important because just shaming them will prevent, if done publicly, other people from coming forward to ask for a refund when it's valid. Also, they went further than just shaming.
You are shaming people who have asked for a refund. That's enough to be shameful.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What don't you understand? A refund is an option. It's called a donation.
You give from your heart. Charity.
Of course, I just want to show some examples.
Out of this person. I'm gonna f this person up. Big time. Puts it in that it's a donation. I forward that donation. And now they're trying to get it back. It was said you put a picture of a Patreon's house and use it as a thumbnail? Really? Who? Whose house? Whose house? And what's the, wait. What's the bigger question? What did that girl do to me?